All right. And then there. See, we can always fix that. Make certain that you're up there. It's fine. It's fine. We'll have a replay of this. It's all good. It's okay. We don't mind. Boom, boom, boom. And then we'll just turn that off. I have got to go through and update a bunch of stuff because Firebot is updated. And, well, when decided to update, it broke a bunch of things. So, but that's all right. It's okay. How's that looking? The internet's just wonky tonight. That's all it's going to be. It's just going to be what it is. Looks like it's all there. Doesn't look like it's deviating too much. Oh, no. There's a few hitches. Yeah. It's just bad, folks. We're going to keep an eye on it. We're going to hope that we can get through this and not have too many big issues. But if you don't know, there's a big storm rolling across the area right now. And so that's playing havoc on everything. So we're going to try this. We're going to hope and see that everything goes right. And we'll have a good time. And if not, I promise I will reschedule this Talk Tuesday and we will do it again because I would hate for you guys to miss out on a single moment of our fantastic guest appearance that we have today. You know, the today's guest star, very fantastic friend, author, legendary voice actor, and a fantastic streamer. I am really going to try not to. No, if I have to reschedule, what we'll do is I will take one of my other stream scheduled days, and we will redo this Talk Tuesday there. So no. It's not a transition. It's just not, speaking of the devil, you know, here comes. No. It's a networking issue. We got these big storms rolling across the East Coast here of the US, and it looks like no matter, and I tried stopping, restarting, and connecting somewhere different. It doesn't seem to matter much. Like there's some definite network routing issues that are coming. So we're dropping a few frames here and there. I doesn't look bad enough to kill the stream. So we're gonna proceed on. I think we'll be all right. I think we'll be just fine. But all that aside, all that said, well, good. Yeah, I've got red numbers over here, and it always bothers me when I see red numbers, but we're going to keep rolling, and as long as I don't see a reset, we should be just fine. That being said, tonight's special guest is Dat Crowdome. That he's already in chat chattering, and but that's okay. That's okay because tonight is all about him. This is his Talk Tuesday. This is his interview. This is your chance to get in here and ask all kinds of questions. Who is Dat Crow, you ask? Who he is? Well, let me just show you. And with that, welcome that crow
Had
to Talk Tuesday.
pulled up watching my own video then because I haven't seen it in a while. So
it's a fantastic video. I thought it did an introduction for you far better than I could ever hope to achieve. But it was a fantastic video. It works out really well. I liked it. It was.
well,
It
thank
was
you very much. Yeah, it was good
the
fun to put
chef's
together.
kiss to starting this out. Danzor, welcome in. Welcome in.
Everybody.
Here we go. Let's get a
Who's
few
back?
things going, right? So, all right. So there is a redeem on the channel that will allow people to send you questions, which they'll come through me. So you're welcome to watch the stream and whatnot. But I've actually got a Shale shout out.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm ready. Thank you for having me, by the way, Nori. I'm very excited for this.
Oh, we have been just as excited. In fact, a little more so, I think, around here. It's the Brotherford. Welcome in. Welcome in. We're gonna have a whole host of shout outs. We're gonna have a whole host of shout outs. You're probably right, Shale, but they're already on the event list.
I think once they're on the event list, I don't know if you can really get rid of them.
Well,
I mean, you can always turn.
I can. Looks like I caught it. We got Brotherfords in there, and then that should be it. We can run more later on. It's not a big deal. It's not that big of a deal. But yes, so there are, and there is a timer that will come up that will pop up and remind people that occasionally we do. We ask all questions are submitted through the channel redeem. This way, it keeps us from having to scroll back and forth to keep up with chat, because sometimes you just get talking, and chat's like a million miles ahead of us.
Yeah, because you just like end up chatting about various topics, and it just takes a while, and you're like,
It
well,
is,
we kind
it
of went
is.
on a bit of a tangent with this one.
So we are going to get started with our standard questions. Danzer's already thrown in some questions, so we're starting to get that already ready. So we're gonna kick off this Talk Tuesday in traditional fashion. You are, my friend, welcome to play any game that you want, or drink whatever drink and whatnot. I have a little puzzle game up there running that is just to give people something to watch while we're doing this.
I do get highly distracted by that one with the light, and you have to run the cord through, and I'm always like, oh my god, is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it? No, yeah, oh, this time, I imagine it's what people who enjoy sports are like, because they're just like, oh my god, nearly.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't really spend a whole lot of brain power looking at that, right? I just kind of twiddle around. It's just something, legitimately, it's just something up there for people to watch.
No, I think it's great.
I think I've been stuck on the
Because then we
same
get each
puzzle
other, and
for
then
a
like
while.
that's that little bit of a distraction there visually too.
Yep. So, anyways, so we'll start off with the we got two standard questions. We always start out because it's the way we establish your origin story, your backstory, which by the way, your little rate does a nice job of kind of touching subjects on that. But I think I feel like it's missing a lot of what is the essential crow. And that's what we're here to find out. That's how lore is built. We're going to learn about
A Q&A with CR and O.
we are here to learn about Essential Crow. So start out with the first one, which is, what got you into streaming?
Well, apparently I've discovered this the other night when we were on Saturday night somewhere. I started back in like 2019, but originally I was just like, I'll just give it a go for a bit of funsies. And I think the first game that I ended up playing was a bit of Fable, because I was doing through a playthrough of that. And I love the old school Fable game. And I was like, fuck it. Let's just see how this goes. My internet was even worse than it is now. I had like jack shit of a setup when it came to like, overlays or anything like that, but I'm like, let's do it. let's do it with a poor man's version. And like originally I had camera, horrible positioning. It took ages for me to actually get the proper setup that I have now. But yeah, I was just like, let's just see how it goes. And plus two, like 2019, I knew a lot of people that were getting into it, and they said, look, I feel like you'd be entertaining, give it a go. So let's say a little bit of peer pressure too. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what got me into it. But I guess consistently, which was really kind of in 2022. I don't know. I wanted to establish like a bit of a schedule, and I figure I'm playing games nearly every night anyway, so I may as well just do it socially and chat with people. And as someone who is quite a social person, I was like, yeah, this will be fun. Let's meet some new folks. So really kind of picked it up there too.
Okay. So no real big. That was just something you decided to do on the fly, then, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of like a hobby or something for a bit of fun. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. The second question that comes, the name, or like we all call you Crow. Like I think everybody calls you Crow, but your handle is.
It's become a weird thing. Like
Dat Crowdo, right? So
yeah.
So where does that come from? Like what is the impetus that spawned Dat Crowdo?
The walk through the park to which got me to this name was pretty much once upon a million years ago. I played a lot of WoW, as the true nerds at heart will agree with, and I had a Blood Elf rogue by the name of Crow. And I ran with that for many, many, many years, and then I was just Crow was on my Blizzard, it was my Steam tag, oh not Steam tag, it was my, what is it, Battle.net account. So it was Crow. Mm-hmm. But then when we were playing a lot of Overwatch, I was playing a lot with a couple of friends. Aelith, who often was one of the mods in my chat and everything like that, we'd play a lot. And whenever I'd get play of the game, we'd all be like, oh, Dat Crowdo, like as a bit of fun. And that's pretty much how it started, and it stuck. And I was like, well, if I'm going to stream, what name am I going to go with? And originally, because I love otters as well, I was going to go with Utterly Awesome Games. Mm-hmm. And I had the idea of like, oh, the points could be it could be clams and stuff like that, and everything like that. But yeah, no, it's just like, nah, I love my birds. And it was kind of a running joke that wherever I moved, because I was moving a lot, I would always have crows in the background, like nearly non-stop, so you could always hear them through my mic. And I was like, I fucking hate these little guys, but I also love them. So yeah, then I just thought, for the actual stream, it should just be more than just Crow and Dat Crowdo. So DCD, and it's fun.
Nice. Fabulous. See, little bits and pieces, like trivia pieces like this that could have been lost to time. We get
the original name of Crow also came because I was based that WoW character off of a character from an anime called Dead Man Wonderland, and the character's name was Crow. So
I actually know that anime.
Ah, dude, then you know the guy. Yes,
I know the guy who you were actually referencing there. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so I made my Belf look like him, and I was like, yeah, let's go for it.
Nice.
I love this puzzle game so much.
Well, it's like, I think it was like $3 or $4 on Steam. It's not much. It'll drive you nuts.
I feel like I get very frustrated if I try and play it myself because I crack the shits with it. But watching you play it, I'm like, oh, this is satisfying.
It is kind of satisfying. It'll drive you nuts.
Yeah. It tickles the itch.
And Makisha coming in.
Howdy.
Sorry.
Welcome on in. I also love to, like, I look over in chat and I just see Dan's is just like,
oh, he's front loaded you with like a ton of questions. Like Dancer's going to make certain that we have no lack of questions for you. Some of these are going to get rather interesting. Oh no. See, you don't get to just rattle off answers because questions like these always spawn more questions. Like
that's true. That second last one could be a good one. Yeah.
They don't ever just you don't get away with, oh yeah, this is going to be easy, right? No, that's not how this works. Sorry, Crow.
No,
you don't get the easy.
Keep me in line.
You don't get the easy. So, no. This is so right. So a couple of ground rules, because I don't want you ever to feel like you're being cornered or anything, right? So you do get a choice of whether or not you decide to answer a question.
Mm-hmm.
So if you feel like the question is too personal or whatever, you don't want to answer it, you are free to go, I'm not answering that question, and we'll skip it and we'll move right along. Some of these I won't even ask you the question because I'll read it and go, that's just really highly inappropriate. I wouldn't even answer that one. So, other ones are going to be LARC questions. Some of these are just going to be LARC questions because your chat's going to be here and they're going to just ask you the silly, stupid questions. That's what our chat does. We love chats for that.
True.
Right. So
my chat's also notorious because I'll be on stream sometimes and be like, let's just have a chill one, and then it ends up just being like, so which Pokemon would you eat? So that was a whole tangent.
Okay. You say that, but like, what was it last week? Yeah, we were playing golf and we were trying to get a fellow streamer, Blue Potato Cat, to hurry up. They were taking forever. And so we literally started talking about Pokemon that we would eat, different ways to cook the said Pokemon, found out which ones were her Pokemons, and we started literally planning like meal planning with them.
Yeah, well, that was it. When we were doing the stream of, it was Sons of the Forest with Dan's, myself, Iron Pucks, and Jetpack Paul. We went pretty in depth. Dan's, if you've got it somewhere, we had a tier list of who you would eat, why it would be edible. Like, you know, it was kind of like Survivor Island being like, because like there was a lot of crabby and stuff like that, like all the seafood, but Pox has like a shellfish allergy. We were like, look, it'd be tasty, but it would kill Pox, so we were like, maybe not. So, but we went pretty damn in depth about who would be delicious and who would not, and like how you would prep them too. So, yeah, I'm very on board with that.
Right? So,
because originally it started off as who you would fuck, and everyone knew it was like, well, there was a Vaporeon thing that went around for a while. And they were like, nah,
that was
way more interesting.
That was horrendous. I'm sorry.
It was so bad, but what's worse is the fact that so many places then sold out of Vaporeon plushies, and I was like, just so disturbed.
Really? Like, really? I just, no. Well, all right. So, we'll get started right here at the top of Danzer's list. We have quite the growing list now. We're up to like 10 questions or so on the stack. So we're gonna knock a few of these out. We may get distracted.
Yeah, that's so good.
Brother says eating Mewtwo is still cannibalism. Yes, very much.
Hang on, let me check where Mewtwo was. I'm pretty sure we did Mewtwo. Oh, well, Mew was an S tier favorite. We definitely eat Mew. So, where is Mewtwo? Dan's, I don't think we have Mewtwo on here. Oh my god. I'd eat Mewtwo, but I'd put him as an A-lister, so. But anyway, yes, continue with your questions.
All right. So, Danzer's first question is what is your favorite color?
My favorite colors are most definitely, well, it's purple and black, but also blue as well. I wear a shit ton of blue, and I just really like it. But yeah, purple for sure. It's why I like my little bird and everything like that is always purple.
Why purple?
It's down the bottom. Purple, I don't know. Like, I have a weird thing when it comes to colors. Like, as anyone who's dropped by the stream might have heard my various rants and tangents, I fucking hate the color yellow with every fiber of my being because I think it is a show-off and a smart-ass of a color. It's something that always demands attention, and it's just like a super needy color in my opinion. Whereas purple has always just seemed kind of laid back, a little bit chill, and just way more relaxed of a color, because it's like, yeah, look, I'm not completely just like blacked out and you can't see me. I got a bit of life in me, and I don't know, it's weird to describe colors with personalities, but that's how I see it. And plus, it's always like a little bit mysterious, because you're like, maybe I was blue. Who knows? You don't know.
Okay, so I will say colors with personality is not really that unusual. I've heard that before. So you're perfect.
Okay, cool. So I'm not completely nuts. Good.
Just mostly nuts. Mostly nuts.
Yeah. Just mostly nuts. That's more than right. Yes.
It's okay. It's okay. Shh, we won't tell anybody. It's fine.
No, it's cool. No one's here. No one's listening. We'll keep it secret.
I'm going to ask this one just because I think this one is just going to be comical. It's gonna be funny, and it's gonna be one of those you're like, really? Why did you even ask this one? But coming from your chat, it's only fair. Danzors asks, do you fold or scrunch your toilet paper?
As a child, I would scrunch. As an adult, I fold. But I think that mainly just comes down to a matter of being cheap. Because I remember as a kid, I would just tear through toilet paper, and I was just like, there's so much being used here. And as an adult, I'm like, this shit's more expensive these days than I remember, so. That's the best answer I think I could give you.
I'm assuming that you understand what he's referencing to when he's talking about folding versus scrunching, because I'm just kind of like, what are we talking about? Are we talking about?
Oh, do you not understand?
No, because I only pull off like 3 or 4 sheets. That's all I need. I don't have a big asshole. I have a little dinky brown eye. It doesn't take much to clean it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what I feel too. Because it's just like, yeah, as an adult, I'm like, yeah, I do the exact same thing. 2, 3, yeah, we're good. We're all good. Like a couple squares. Whereas like as a kid, I was just like, yeah, we got a whole handful. We got a mess to clean down here, so let's go. But
good God, no, a whole handful? That's just asking to clog the toilets. Jeez.
It wasn't my toilet. I was 6. I was like, this is magic. I get how things work. Look, some people like to live life dangerously. I was a little bit reckless. What more can I say? I was a go-getter. Tuesday bingo card. You're welcome. You're welcome. I will turn this chat into a bunch of degenerates.
It's fine. We've had worse. Well, I'm certain as we continue to go along, this will just be one of those.
Yeah, we're 20 minutes in. This is gonna get worse. I can feel it.
We're 20 minutes in. It's gonna be just fine.
I feel it with my waters.
Let's see. Danzers asks, why are you the most beautiful person I've ever met? Well, Danzers, caw. If you're into birds, I can't say just why not. Personally, I'm a big fan of black, so crow with black feathers, I'm good with that. It's great.
Besides, too, someone had to give Henry Cavill a bit of a break from time to time. So
they're talking about Talk Tuesday bingo cards. This does not need to be a thing.
What if it does, Nori?
No.
If it does?
No. No.
We should design these. I encouraged by Crow.
Encouraged by Crow or voiced by Crow? Which is it?
Column A, column
B.
I'm gonna encourage it.
Speaking of, so we're gonna take a little deviation because since it's my Talk Tuesday, I get to cut in line and ask questions periodically when they strike my fancy. What got you into voice acting?
Kind of goes back to like when I was a kid and I was very much so class clown sort of thing, and I would always do like, do stupid voices and crap like that. And as I got older, I got more and more into just doing it for funsies, impersonating characters. I think the first one that I really started impersonating and getting good at and doing a lot of was Gollum. Because I do love me Lord of the Rings.
Like so everybody does Gollum, though.
Yeah, but that was a good kind of kickoff point for me. And then I can't remember really what after that really got me into it. But big push for me was combination of D&D was a big one because it let me do a bunch of voices, of course, and practice, be it characters or eventually when I became a forever DM of just busting them out all the time. But Critical Role was a massive one. For those who don't know, it's voice actors jump together, play D&D game run by Matt Mercer, and it's just got a bunch of other people playing through it too. And that was a massive one because I started looking into it more and more, and I was like, I really love D&D and I really love what they're doing, and it was a lot of fun for me. So, and it just really felt good to do whenever I've had chances to get out there and have roles for it, or yeah, just be characters, because I love stories and characters, and when you get to bring these characters to life via voice or anything like that, it's just a massive, massive win. Because how many times have you, like everyone's done this who is a gamer or seen movies or anything like that. If someone delivers a line and they're just like, "No, father, I won't do that," it's deadpan. You're like, okay. But when some people have like real emotion behind it, you're like, you genuinely feel it, and that really helps just make the character feel alive. And doing a good job of that, oh,
Oh yeah,
that's what I love. That's what
you
I love
can
in games.
nail.
Like,
Well, so okay, as a fellow DM, right?
Mm.
I have done my share of voice work for some of the characters that your people interact with, right?
yeah,
So I get that, and the more invested you are into the voice, the better it comes out. Like as a DM, I will spend like 2 seconds to come up with the sound of some kind of grunt knight that either they're going to talk to one time or he's going to get killed, and I just don't care. Like he doesn't.
yeah,
They all tend to sound alike. Like you have your dummy characters that sound all alike, and then you
yeah.
have
You're like
like
your bread and butters. Yeah,
yeah, then you have your this is like some evil villain sort of thing, and he's going to be around for a while. Let's really invest some time into that.
yeah. The villains you really have to put, or like reoccurring characters, you really do have to spend a bit more time with. I kind of see reoccurring characters like villains, for example, kind of like your own, like nearly like PC characters, like player characters that the DM gets to do,
Mhm.
because they have their motivations, they have their goals, they have their plans and everything like that. So it's quite a bigger process rather than just like, who's this god? Oh, over there, there's Carl. He's been a pretty cool guy for a while now, but we don't know if we can trust him. And yeah, oh, you need to find the shop that's just down that way. You just throw them out there and like they just don't matter. But and then some, yeah, actually Dan's pointing out there, some NPCs end up becoming way more important and beloved by the party, and you're like, well, best remember this voice. So
Now, so
yeah.
before we get too far out on this well, quite frankly, this little side trip of ours is definitely taking a side trip. Do you have like a personal favorite, memorable, like accidental character? You know, he's that guy that you're like, oh, that they'll talk to him one time and that'll be it. And no, they keep coming back to him over and over again because that is like their favorite person.
Oh, there's been a couple. Mr. Sir is definitely one that. So I ran a game and Dan's was part of it, and he was one. Which was like, because I'd run the campaign for another group of friends, and they overlooked this character completely. So then when I brought him back around for the second time through, the second group with Dan's, they fell in love with him, and I was like, okay. So he really took off. Another NPC. Oh yeah, I played like a lot. Like for one point, I had a party, and I kind of got attached to him. It was like a one shot, but then they wanted it to kind of expand into more and more and more. And his name was Avari, and yeah, he was a lot of fun because essentially he was like a great big kind of powerful demon that got locked in a vault, in a soul vault sort of thing, and he ended up coming back as a reoccurring villain in the next campaign because in the one shot they had to get out because they were locked in with him, and since they let him go, he was then free to leave too. So he came back as well as his assistant Alistair, which was a lot of fun to just mess with the party because when you've got these specific voices for characters, they really do a good job of, you just have to slip in a few lines with that voice and the party just goes, oh shit, which is one of my favorite parts. Like for Alistair, for example, who was very heavily inspired by Alistair from Supernatural, if you happen to know that show. He would just slip on by or just whisper in someone's ear, and I would send a good shudder right down somebody's spine. So that was a lot of fun to do.
Oh God, they're chat's doing a thing. Okay.
What is chat doing? Oh yeah, and the turtle. Yeah, that's it. I've had a few good ones. I see a bunch of butts at one point.
Mr. Wags' new emote. Wags has been on a kick for making emotes as of
That's hilarious.
he has discovered this website that allows him to make some really fantastic emotes. Wags is a fellow streamer and content creator, as well as a bit of an artist. He wouldn't call himself as such, but I have no issues labeling him as much.
I do love the astronaut.
Yes. That aside, let's go over here. Let's go back over here to
Also,
our
Dan's,
list.
the turtle's name was Torgus.
Torgus.
Yep.
There you go. Yeah, we're not going to ask that one. We're going to skip that one, Dancers. I'm sorry. No, I'm not even reading that one. If you could be any character in your book, who would you be and why?
Oh. God. That is a good one. Yeah, I saw that one before, and I was like, I've been trying to passively think about it for a while now. I love the villains. I always love the villains.
Right.
But I might
Hey,
have to
hello.
say Penny Whistle.
Penny Whistle.
Yeah, Penny Whistle's a lot of good fun, and knowing also background information and stuff, I know further limitations of some characters. Either that, I don't know. Penny Whistle's good fun. I don't drink enough to be Henry. Jack, of course, would be good, but that's like sort of, in my opinion, every author's first book has a little bit of a self-insert. So Jack has a lot of my own traits, so I don't feel like it'd be really fair to say him. But yeah, Penny Whistle was good fun. But then again,
Hang on a second.
no, I was gonna say something. But, yeah.
No, it's just
What's up?
Zedicus just showed up in the stream, and I forgot to turn off the walk on, so we have Wizard as Zodicus. We have his little walk on music going, which for him is a
I
little
may
bit
have
longer.
had to unmute stream for that one too. So, just 'cause it's
I
a walk on, it really is.
I spent a lot of hours trying to find just that perfect piece of describe Epic Zoda.
Yeah,
I
that was-
freely
it's
admit
pretty
I
perfect,
put
not
some
gonna
time
lie.
into that one. Now, since we are on the subject of your book, and for those of you who are just arriving here, we are talking with Dat Crowdo. Crow, as he's more affectionately referred to, from Australia, is voice actor, streamer, and author. Author of the book Fate Market, which is currently what some of the lines of questions are boiling around. So if you're confused as to what we're talking about, there you go. Some quick catch up. Yeah, I hope it's not too choppy, because yeah, it should be leveling. No, there it goes again. Yeah, see, it keeps going in and out. And I tried changing.
How's the audio for people? Is it just the visuals, or is it
No,
everything?
so it's dropping like whole frames. Like it looks like I'm about to. Let's give it a reset. Let's see what the stats look like now.
Kind of sketchy.
It goes and it comes and goes. It comes and goes. It's really, again, there's that big storm going on over here on the East Coast. So a lot of this is going to be from that big storm.
Yeah, you
Like,
guys have what tornado warning you said before?
we were under tornado warning to about just like an hour ago, and then Zoda wants to know when we're getting an audiobook of Fate Market.
Yeah, look, maybe one day. Maybe one day. I honestly would like to sit down with an editor to get it completely perfectly cleaned up, because I know there's still stuff that needs to be worked on and cleaned up for that one. But
I
it would be
did.
nice to do. Not gonna lie.
I honestly, so we're talking about it. Well,
Yes.
just because I've got a couple of points and a couple of questions.
Go for it.
Did you do you have, like, so you've written the book, right? So you already know all the characters, their backstories, their ins, their outs, their
Most of them, yeah.
their one would hope that you know all of them, because they are your characters.
Well, there was some things too where I'm just like, I've got these characters that I didn't completely flesh out, but I left them open for the possibility of doing more. So I was like, I can build off of these characters. I didn't just have them close
Well,
in and out.
Yeah, no,
characters.
but I mean, so I guess my question, where I'm heading to with the question is that, do you already have pre-described voices for some of these characters? Like, when you were writing, I read books and I imagine what the people sound like when I read the books, right? So the question here is, as you were writing the books, did you set up like, oh, this guy's going to be some kind of old-timey British guy, or here's the really old decrepit guy in and he sounds like this or like that, or do you have like voices already set up for some of them?
To a degree, yeah, in my head I do. Like some of them it's been way easier. And it does also help when I'm trying to write the dialogue, because I just switch between the two different voices back and forth, back and forth. Like when I'm having a conversation, I'm like, well, how would this character respond to this? Which again comes down to thankfully D&D and having a bit of practice and everything like that. But like for example, what can I do? I'm trying to think of who would be a good one for it. Okay, prime example, like the Lie from my book. In my head, he kind of had nearly like a little bit of a Jersey sort of voice. He was meant to be, the entire time that I wrote the scenes with the Lie, mostly, I was listening to nice like cafe jazz, because his kind of location where he's first introduced was in like a little jazzy place with some piano playing and everything like that. So I had a bit of that music playing. And like, where's a line of his? Hang on, I'll just bring up the book. Where was it? Here we are. Like, for example, just after like exchanges some, like they have some nice cups of tea sort of thing, they have a bit of a drink, and Jack's like, what do I owe you? The man dismissively waved his hand. This one's on the house. You don't owe me anything. Like that sort of a voice coming through. So then when you go on to read later stuff, it's just like, so tell me, kid, what's an inhab like you doing in a place like this? That sort of coming through for that sort of character. But I'm always so damn curious, and I love hearing other people's interpretations. Or one of the good questions that I was asked once was, if it ever became like a live action, do I have any actors or actresses in mind for who would play particular characters, or who I'd want the face of them to be? So yeah, that's kind of how it works for some characters.
I could see that. So being a voice actor and DM and whatnot, right? So it's easy to go, I can imagine this is the way this guy sounds. I can imagine this is how this person would sound. I can imagine, this is kind of how this guy would talk. This is kind of like how that guy would talk, right? So you get these sort of things that rattle around in your head. And it was curious. My curiosity more than anything else, I think, is whether or not there was a particular thought process behind that.
And
as far as like for me, as far as dealing with like characters in like D&D and whatnot, I am very big to do this thing where I will let the character's voice kind of determine the way they talk.
Yes, yeah, that is a massive one. I will back that 100%. But I guess when it came down D&D, so that's the difference I guess between D&D when it came to writing the book. So for D&D, I very much so go in with like a here's an attitude for this kind of character. I will establish the voice. If they're important, I'll do the voice and what they sort of know beforehand and what the party asks, because it's a lot of back and forth with them. And how they treat that character really determines on how they'll sound and everything like that. However, when it comes to writing for the book, because I have to have the narrative planned out and I have to establish where it's going and what's happening with it, I need certain characters to essentially deliver particular bits of information in certain ways. Like, for example, if in my head I had someone sounding like a complete idiot, I couldn't then have them then go on to explain something incredibly elaborate. Because to me, it would sound wrong. And if you describe the character of having like a sluggish or slow sort of voice, and then they're busting out like this thesis, it just sounds broken.
No, see, I find those sort of what's the word I'm looking for here? Anachronisms help to really give a character more of a story to tell. Like, all right, so I did I did a run about 2 years ago. I did one where the he was the town's mayor, big, huge, like came in, sat down, took up an entire 6-foot bench, like huge guy, rested one arm, broke the table, that sort of thing, right? And so you're expecting a large, boomy sounding voice, and instead, what you get from the guy is as soon as you start talking, he sounds more like, and so we need you heroes to do the thing. Where they go and smash the thing. And so he uses a whole lot of thing, and this and that, and he talks very simple. But at the end, when he comes back, he's like, we're so happy and glad that you have done this amazing thing for us. You have done a great service. And so suddenly, his whole dialogue changes. It's not simple. He uses bigger words. Still sounds funny. He uses bigger words. Why? Because there was no expectation that the characters coming back were actually going to survive. So why waste the trouble of using big, long, flowery speech for somebody you're not going to see again?
Well, I guess for me, if it comes down to like D&D, like I'll kind of stir off the book for that one, but when it goes to D&D, if they're not going... Oh, I guess it kind of applies for the book too. If they're not an important character, I try to make them not sound or feel important. Distinct characters like have you read the book yet? Have you finished it, or?
I haven't finished yet. I have started it.
Yeah, because there's a character like that comes in and she's a kitsune, and I wanted her to have a specific kind of sounding voice, so I wrote her to have a specific sounding kind of voice in the same way. Because whenever I write dialogue, I say it out loud, and however I say it out loud is how I'll write it down. It's why, like at the start, we get the slurring speech. And I was like, how does this sound in my ears? So that's for that. But like when it comes to D&D, I will also 100% give attitude or put a voice in or do something like that for a character if I want to manipulate the party in a little bit. Like if I want them to think that this character's a dick, I'll sound like a dick. If I want them to be kind of sweet or nice, or, I want the party to like them, I may just put in like a bit more like, thank you, lots more manners, or, just be kinder and gentler of a voice. So, yeah, that's where I kind of work on those ones.
Dancers, if you really want to hear a Stitch voice, you should check out Swift Squirrel stream. sometimes, and she does fantastic Stitch voice. That particular voice is actually a couple octaves higher than what my typical gnome voice is. I made it a little lower. I guess lower is probably a closer word for it. For the big hulking guy, because I figured he was a little. But at the same time, I had this idea of what's that boxer's name? Mike Tyson. I had Mike Tyson in the
Mike
brain
Tyson.
when I started. Yeah, it's just a little thing, and it does a little thing, and it's like this little thing. Exactly, right? Just a little thing.
It's actually very similar, funnily enough, to the character that Dan's mentioned before, Mr. Sir. So that's making me giggle a bit.
But you know, it's one of those things you really kind of have to squeeze on the vocal cords, and it gets a little rough. Like talking long term like that is hard for me.
Oh, prolonged, it can be a real bitch.
Let's go grab some more questions.
Voice, or like the body gets attached to a character that has a voice, and that voice like strains a lot, and you're like, I've made a horrible mistake.
I've made mistakes. Danzers ask, what is your favorite character to voice act?
Of mine, or like to do impressions of, like, God, loaded question.
Hey guys, if you're asking questions, make certain you remember to use that redeem. Otherwise, we're going to lose those questions. We won't be able to get to them all.
True. Of my characters, I have a lot of fun with either doing Irish accent or Southern. For doing those ones. As for like impersonating characters, I've done so friggin' many too. Like I was busting out 3 a week for a while there. And then I reduced it back to 1 a week, and now I'm slack and I barely do any. Trying to think. Again, Gollum is one of my favorites. I've been having a lot of fun with Dobby as well, because Dobby being such an innocent character and then just being relentlessly rude or over the top with him is just a lot of fun.
Because it's always fun when Dobby goes to Harry Potter's house. They bust out the mad cocaines and have a wild time, so yes.
So that's good fun. Yeah, I don't really know. Like, I'm sorry. I don't really, yeah, I can't really nail that one down. I have a lot of fun with nearly all of them. So yeah, they're all really good, but like my favorite one one of my favorite ones that I did was for a halfling ranger. Well, I did Osborne and then I did Cupid. Cupid was my halfling rogue that I first played.
And yeah, he was kind of a bit of a smart ass, and that was good fun. And I've introduced him into later games with folks. But end of day, he was good. As for other folks in the wild, I'm not too sure. I'd have to really more thoughts about it. You know, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. It's a good question, but it's a tricky one. Yeah.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I'm sorry that I can't really answer that with much better, but
You know, an answer is still an answer. Salty would like to hear your southern accent. I am kind of curious to hear how bad you can butcher that southern accent. So,
well, it depends. If you kind of want to sound like the colonel who's going out here looking for a great deal of chicken, then you can get that one going true. Or, of course, you can always be a southern lady, so I just have to go a little bit more high pitched. It is very much so stereotypical, my friend.
You are very much so Kentuckian.
Oh, well, isn't that like the same? Yeah, see, as an Aussie, I don't know the difference. Where the fuck is the difference?
I
don't know your country. It's like you say East Coast, and I'm like, with the storm that's going off, and I'm like, I'm gonna lie here and pretend that I've heard about this storm.
Oh,
Sure.
Right. So the
rich Southerners.
Yes.
Imagine being a
So there ends the rub, right? So Kentucky is really your Kentucky accent is pretty spot on, but it is it's the what is that movie Sound of Wind, it's got Red Scarlet and can't think of the name of this stupid. Anyways, yeah.
No, man, this is all you. This is all you.
What
Like
is-
my version of
Gone with the
Southern
Wind.
Kentucky
There it
just
is.
Very much that goes off of what I've heard.
Gone with the Wind, and that's yes, and that's where you kind of sound like you're from. Like you've watched that movie. Yeah, that's really
Actually
Kentuckian. You should go listen to that. Your accent's really close to exactly that, a Kentuckian accent.
I know. I tend to voice mimic too, so if I hear something, I just kind of work with what I hear.
No, that's
It's
not
stand-up
the
music.
same movie. Dancer.
One's got Kentucky, the other has Nazis, so slight difference there.
Anyway, but yeah, so but yeah, no, it's the difference between like if we were to say, oh, all Aussies sound the same, and you just want another shrimp on the Barbie, right? It's. I
didn't say
hear
like my
you.
American accent and just go straight for that. That would have been horrible. So, yeah, my American accent's really good. Oh yeah, the South will rise again. Oh, rise. It's just, that would be. Oh, yeah, that one would have been.
You do. You
kinda
sound
frowned
like Colonel Sanders, who's a good solid Kentuckian, and I get it.
Yeah,
It's
like that's what I
it's-
very much so like. I'm like, it's my Colonel voice. We're on like.
right.
Whenever with friends, we're like, let's get some KFC, and I'm like, oh yeah, gotta get us some nice fried chicken. So.
Yeah, and that's very much a Kentuckian accent, which again, not a big deal. It's fine. It's one of those. I'm like, okay, that I don't equate that to being Southern. Southern has a lot more twang on the end of it. There is not as refined.
Not as refined. Bit more twang.
I'll get you. I'll find you some YouTubes of some different areas of the South and what they sound like.
Yeah, all right, that will be
Dinsdale.
good. That would be good. I'll add it to my repertoire.
Yeah, it's well, when you hear it, you'll be like, oh, and there's the Alabamian accent, and that sounds way different from the Kentucky, from
See,
the Carolinas,
Alabama,
from
all I
the
can ever think of is like Forrest Gump. So, and I can only do that voice if I'm going sell out Forrest, and it just sounds real slow. I guess it's spot on for Forrest, but
I don't think that's gonna come up like that. It is. All right.
Kentucky is more.
Amakisha says, "What is your dream?" I think what she means is if you had a long term goal in life, what is a dream for Crow? Like, where do you want to end up at? And if that is wrong, please correct me, Miss Keisha. But I think that's kind of what you were going for with that question.
Keisha asking the same question that my therapist asks. Why not?
We're gonna give you the hard hitting ones
See
around
that?
here.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's a tricky one.
Is it?
Yeah. So, well, yeah, kind of is. Like, I'm very open about it and everything because I think it's an important thing. But like, I've had quite a bit of depression in my life and everything like that. And to be all honest, I've had a couple of pretty close thoughts and like nearly attempts and stuff like that. But 2022 was a real, 2022 was a pretty massive depression time for me. And one of the big motivators too was I'm like, all right, well, if I'm gonna do this, kind of like end it or anything like that, something that I always wanted to do was to get a book out there. I'd always wanted to do it, and I'd always said I'm going to do it. So that was a massive, very, yeah, 2022, 2023. It was a big year, so especially for overcoming it all. So I really wanted to do that, and it was a big motivator to push and write the book and work so hard on it, which was a fantastic distraction and also a good thing to get my mind out of the depression. And once I'd kind of finished writing it and getting it done and really kind of underway, it left me in a bit of a slump because I was like, shit, what do I do now? This was a goal that I've had for such a long time that I really didn't know what to do. And to be honest, I'm still very much so in the mindset of, what do I do now that I've achieved the thing that I wanted to do for so long? So now, like, ideally, yes, one day I would love to become like a decent and known voice actor and get out and like do games or animations or anything like that. That would be huge one day.
Right.
Or, you know, keep going with books or everything like that. But in the meantime, I've just found a great deal of peace and contentment with my life that I have nowadays, and a lot of appreciation for what I have. So I don't really have a massive long-term goal. I guess the best thing that I could say for my goal is to just try and find happiness and enjoy the things that I have, because as sad as it sounds too, I look at a lot of the state of the world and I think, shit, like, you know, I'm 31 and I've seen how much the world has changed. Like, we've gone through how many supposed once in a lifetime events in like the last 20 to 30 years, and they just keep happening. And with how the world progresses, I'm pretty not skeptical, but I do get a little bit pessimistic about how things will go. So I'm like, if we make it another 40 years, I just want to try my best to be happy in that 40 years doing whatever it is exactly that I'm going to be doing. So yeah, probably maybe a bit more of an in-depth answer than was expecting. And it's not exactly a fine wrap-up to be like, this is my goal, I want this. But I've achieved nearly anything I wanted to do. Like, I've been paid for voice work before. I've written a book. I've published a book. I've lost a lot of people in my life, like some important ones. I've gained some fantastic ones. I've been in love. I've had my heart broken. I'm not someone that wants kids. So it's not like I have those sort of massive long-term life goals for that I really want to achieve. So yeah, at the moment, I'm just kind of enjoying the peace and trying to find happiness.
And there's nothing wrong with that, right? So there's no right or wrong answers. These are just questions, right? So the answers are what you give them. So you're not on trial here. These are just answers.
I don't know. I always feel a bit guilty for that one though, because like, you know, you chat with so many people and they're like, so what's your goal? And they're like, I want to buy a house, or I want to travel overseas, and I want to do this, and I want to do that. But not
everybody has the same dream,
other ones that
right?
I'd love to see. Exactly. Yeah, like,
and it's not necessary for everybody to have the same dream.
Well, that's been a massive thing too. Like, and I love the quote or whatever it is. Comparison is the thief of joy, because it really is. When you start comparing yourself, being like, you know, they've got these dreams or these goals or these wants. If it doesn't line up with what you want, it can make you feel pretty shitty about what you've done or what you've got. So I really have been working hard, especially in like the last year. 2023 was, so 2022 to 2023 was like massive depression, deal with it kind of thing, that, and 23 was very much so like a build-up year.
Right.
So just not comparing to people or doing anything like that, and taking time for myself, I guess. Yeah, it is a hard mentality to also get out of, for being like, sorry, I don't have a better answer, or sorry for this. But yeah, it's just one of those things you just have to work on, you know, self-work and everything like that.
It is. And you know, we all take time to work on things. Like, it is just a thing that we do. And I don't personally see anything wrong with taking time and working on yourself. You're not supposed to have all the answers. As an adult.
Oh
right,
God, no.
The thing to keep in mind, the thing to always remember is we're adults, and the sad part about being an adult is there's no guarantee that you have the right answer.
No,
we have
are
the
100%
guess
just like stumbling through, being like, God, I hope this is right.
we all take guesses at it, and we hope that we make the best decisions, we make the best choices, and we go about our day to day, and we hope that we're doing as best as we can.
Yeah.
For ourselves, for
And,
our
like, yeah,
family, for
sometimes
our
we'll
loved
make these
ones. For,
decisions that are even spot on, and they may even lead to mistakes, and we go, "Oh shit, here comes the consequences of my actions." But you just got to live with them. So
you say that,
sometimes
and
they're
I
good,
think
sometimes they're bad.
if I catch your stream, I usually hit you with that redeem of yours. You're like, I don't think I should have done that.
Consequences of my actions now. I don't want to. Yeah, I love that one.
But I mean, it is what it is. But no, it's a fine answer. I had a 5-year goal for myself. I achieved that 5-year goal in 4 years. And you can ask Shale. I
Congratulations.
have
that's
been
great.
I don't know if if it should be a good thing, right? Because
What?
I hit it. I don't know what to do next. And so
See,
now
yes,
I
so
am
you
just
get me 100%.
I'm like, now what? I don't know.
Yeah.
So now I'm just kind of free floating, just milling about, and it's not a good place. It's not an ideal place. But I don't know what is the right place.
Yeah, I think that's the hard thing, and you 100% get me too then in the regards, because it's like, what now?
Yeah,
Achieve these goals. What now?
yeah.
And yes, it's open to interpretation. You'd be like, you can do anything. It's like, that's
But-
the thing. It's almost like there's too many options. What do I want to
What
do?
is anything? I don't know.
Yeah.
Where do we go? But
And
all right,
as much as people can be like, you can do anything, money is also a big factor there. So
well, yeah, money's always going to be a big factor. But I mean, if we're just like, forget money, doesn't matter. You can have all the money that you want.
oh yeah.
You met some kind of fancy rich lady who's going to take care of all your bills, or maybe you've met some kind of fantastic rich guy. I don't know. Whichever side of the field you
What do you
bat
mean
for.
become a sugar
Yeah,
baby? I would yeah, I would.
You found yourself a patronage of your art.
A sponsor or something. Yeah. Just being like, you go do your thing. Here's a lot of money.
Yeah, here you go. And then in which case,
Benefactor. That's what we need. We need benefactors, Nori. That's it.
no. But it's just one of those things.
I
Right?
can almost hear conflict there. Yeah. You're like, don't know about that, but
Do we really want benefactors? Is that the smart play? I don't know. What does that mean? What does that mean moving forward in the future? How does I don't have answers for those either. And I don't know that I would be. I don't know that for me, having a benefactor show up who says, "Hey, money's not a problem. Go do whatever it is that you want to do. Go live your life." I don't know that I personally could handle the guilt that would come associated with the fact that somebody is
like,
just.
It's lovely to.
It's a nice thought,
Yeah, it's a
But now
nice
they're
thought,
just-
but
they're just throwing money around because they can, and they're. I don't understand. So there you go. There's that bit of. Now what do I do?
yeah, I back you. I get that. It is a kind of a tricky thing if someone was suddenly just like, "Here's $1 million. I'll take care of you." It's like, what, do you own me or something? What? How does this work? Like,
Yeah.
what kind of deal with the devil bullshittery have I just signed up for?
Well, and exactly, what did I just agree to? I don't know that I'm okay with this.
Yeah, I get you.
But, so all that aside, right?
Yes.
Our next question, because we're gonna keep rolling through these things, is from the Rutherford, and he would like to know, what is your favorite genre of game to play for fun?
I do love my
I-
good hack and slashes.
I know
Um,
we ask all the hard hitting questions around here.
Yeah, definitely. No, like I love my hack and slashes. Like I loved, and like superhero games, of course, like RPGs, of course. But like,
Mr. Wags, I have my coffee right next
Yeah.
to me. Thank you.
also a big fan of like I like just chill out city builders and stuff like that. Like City Skylines, I sunk far too many hours into that.
Okay,
I've
I
had
am
a
going to
bunch, like
harken
that
back.
Tavern Master one.
You started that whole City Builders steampunk, that Frostpunk. Oh my god.
Frostpunk.
was-
Yes. Oh my god, that was so good.
That was such a fun time too, because we had that story.
Oh, that was so good, Nori. I
That
loved
was-
that too. Being it when we were the Shiny Police or the Church of Chippies. Yes, that was so good. I was loving those too. Every time you'd come in and drop it, it was one of my favorite things.
You remember the first thing that you said to me? The very first time I dropped one of those on top of you,
No.
and you asked, you don't remember that? Oh.
I have a god awful
Oh.
memory to like. I apologize, but what did I say?
You looked right at the window, at chat window, and you looked at me and you were like, "Are you trying to get free voiceover work for me?"
I like how like. Yeah, fair, cool, fair. And then yeah, it worked. And now just
You
every
did.
time you come in, I'm just like, this is my favorite thing. And I always
You're like,
read 'em.
oh, Nori showed up. Come on. What do you got? It almost feels like if I don't do it, you kind of get a little disappointed there.
Yeah,
like,
look, I'm
oh.
not saying there's a level of expectation there, but when you don't, I only cry myself to sleep for 20 minutes. It's, yeah, it's definitely something I look forward to.
It's fine.
That is
It's
for
fine.
sure.
But yeah, that was exactly what you told me the first time I came in. You're like, "Are you trying to get free voiceover work?" I'm like, "No, dude. I just, you had this whole thing going. I thought it was great.
I loved it.
I was just
Like,
I was just rolling right on with the punches, as it were.
It was
but
good
I
fun.
kept-
can't
I
remember
kept
which one.
persisting.
I think that was the Church of Chippies. I think that was the Church of Chippies when you first came in. I
No,
don't think we were the
it
Shiny Police
wasn't.
in that one.
No, it was the Shiny Police.
Oh, we were the Shiny Police.
We were. The Church of Chippies was the
Ah,
second
got a
version of
much
that,
better
but well, so I have worked, like everybody I meet on Twitch, I try to remember specific pieces about things that have occurred, like create memory moments with them, because
Hmm.
I enjoy these little moments. They help tell the story of a life, right? Hey, stay up, welcome in. They help tell moments of lives, like little snippets of memories and whatnot. I enjoy Twitch for that because it gives me a chance to make these little moments, and you just kind of collect them together, kind of like a collage or a scrapbook.
Mm.
And then
I like
they're
that.
just fun. And so when I get old and I get to a point where I can't do this anymore, because that's going to be a very real thing. I'm not going to be
I mean, what'll
unrealistic
stop
about
you?
that. My brain.
I don't know. See,
Eventually-
that's it. Like you've got a pretty sharp brain, so like, and then as long as you're
No,
using
it's
generally
it's
you
not
can-
nearly as sharp as you think it is. But that's okay. I will take the compliment.
Oh, I mean it, man. Like
Um,
you've got a very good noggin.
but yeah, so these are things that I enjoy doing is making these little moments. But yes, no, in that particular moment, it was the Shiny Police, because you were the captain of the guard, and the opponents that you were dealing with, you were captain of the Shiny Police, and the people that you were dealing with were the Resistance, were just a bunch of idiots.
Filthy peasants.
Like the only thing you had to
That's
do
their
to make the
place.
Resistance happy was to get the brothels up, and as soon as you got the brothels up, the Resistance kind of disappeared after that.
It's almost like they got to take out their frustration elsewhere or something like that. Crazy.
It's something like that, something crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, That was also the one where you had all the people who came in, and we had that glorious readout as the people crested the hill, and they could see the bright shiny beacons that was your city and everything else. And yeah, there was that moment too that we created, and then like literally within the next scenes, the game had cut over to the people coming up to Snowflake and seeing view of the town. And you're like, this was just so perfect. I'm like, don't cry, man, don't cry.
An emotional moment. I'm ready for it. Yeah. God, I can't wait for the second one of that game. I'm gonna have so much fun with it. I miss it. I can go back to it, but it also feels like I've nearly played it too much.
Is there such a thing as playing a game too much though?
Well, kind of like it gets to a point with me with some of those games where I know the sequence, and if I up the difficulty, then I'll just crack the shits and not in the fun way. I'm just like, I know the sequence, they're just not doing it fast enough, and I have to figure out the new one. But I'm like, I've already won this game. So, and I was a little bit disappointed that you can't just do like a completely pacifist run, because I went down once where you don't go the Shiny Police, or you don't go the Church of Chippies, go down either of those. And there was no difference in ending. Like, I was hoping there'd be like a... Because both of them, they kind of get a little bit shitty at you, being like, you oppressed us, be it with the church or with this. And when you don't get down either, it still makes it sound like they're the peasants from Monty Python being like, I'm being repressed, you're a horrible person. And I was like,
Help, I'm being repressed.
exactly. And I'm like, I literally have built up this nation. You people were nothing but frozen chicken nuggets until I came along, and then I have saved you all. Have some gratitude. Yeah.
All right, so City
as
Builders.
for otherwise, yeah. City Builders. I love my hack and slashes. But that's because like grew up with so many of them too. I'm not sure. The horror games are very fun on stream. If it's coming down to stream games, horror is very good. Because, as we all know, I am the bravest crow around. No one can deny that. It's very true. But when I play horror games on stream with people, it's just way more fun. Because not only my reaction, but then having the laughs with everyone else too. It's just, it makes it more enjoyable for me.
Right.
So, yeah, like, playing the mortuary assistant was horrifying, but being able to share a laugh with other people made it worth. 100%. But I've also been getting into the Souls ones, so that's been good. I don't know, it's, yeah, like, because I don't just have a niche of what particular game I just like to play, I guess it just comes down to what I'm in the mood for at the time, but definitely the hack and slashes, but as long as it's a story. If there's a good story, I'm here for it. If it's just... I'm trying to think of a game that doesn't really have a story. But yeah, sometimes if the story doesn't grab me, I won't enjoy it. Even if it's like the best gameplay in the world, I just don't give a shit about it. And like, I'll maybe get some flack for this. Like, The Last of Us. Renowned to be one of the, you know, best RPG games of like, you know, last however long, right?
Right.
I don't care for it. I didn't enjoy the story. I didn't give a shit about I can't remember Joel and girl. So I just couldn't enjoy it. The gameplay and everything meant nothing to me because the story didn't catch me. So yeah, that kind of sucked because I was like, I'm really keen for this, but then when I played it, I was like, But then again, that's always open for interpretation for everyone, right? Like, if you don't enjoy the story,
Yeah.
that's fine. Someone else might.
Well, yes.
So,
Mr. Zoda asked, would you play It Takes Two with me?
with you, Zoda, maybe. However, it is in the works for whenever we can get her back that Wars and I were planning on playing it. So, because we did A Way Out, as we all know. It only took like a year to finish it, but we finally got a way out. But yeah, we were planning on playing that one, and then her computer got assassinated. So
Oh, it got brutally assassinated.
yeah, yeah, and then closed due to Christmas and New Year's, and that 6 days in between when no one knows what day it is.
Let's see. Rutherford also asks, well, I think we actually covered a bit of this anyways, but what is your favorite genre of game to play for stream?
Oh, I thought that was the one from before. But yeah, for stream, I'll give anything a go. Honestly, like, as I said, the horror is good fun. But I'll give anything a go. So, what's some of the ones we've had the most fun with? Frostpunk was definitely, yeah, now that you bring that one up, that was good fun. Liza P was really fun last year. Dan's and I fucked about with Baldur's Gate, which was hilarious.
Oh,
That was...
you know what we could do?
Mm.
And that would be interesting to try. Well, so you have Elden Ring, right?
I have Elden Ring for PS4.
Yeah.
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 Though I have been thinking about, like,
Well, I mean, if we get
actually
enough,
getting it for PC.
yeah, if we got enough PC players, right, you can do the co-op, the play together. It's a mod for it.
I would really like that.
Could you imagine like a group play of that?
What's the max that you can have? Because I've seen people get in there with like 5 or 6 people.
I think it's up to 8 is what that mod will let you do.
That's chaotic.
Oh, it would be absolutely. It would
That
also
would
be
be
hell
fun.
on somebody's computer too, maybe, possibly, probably not.
Oh, true.
Depends. But it just depends. You'd have to try and find out. But it would be interesting to see what a large group like that would look like.
Yeah, that would be. I'd do it. Like, that's it. I've been contemplating for a while. It's one of those things where I've been gathering my pennies and stuff like that, where I've got some big expenses coming up. But once those big expenses are done, I'm like, huh, I can kind of be a little bit more lenient with what games I'm buying and what I'm doing. So Elden Ring is definitely on there, because the one that I have, it actually belongs to a friend who lives not far, that I borrowed off her, and I still haven't returned. But I also blame her, because I'm notorious for blaming other people, but also because she hasn't asked for it back just yet. So when she does, I'll give it back to her, and I'll have to pull my finger out and actually buy a copy for myself. But yeah, Elden Ring, I'd gladly do a multiplayer of that, because after I did Lies of P, but after Bloodborne, which I played on my own, which was amazing, loved that. I can totally understand the hype behind it now. And then doing Lies of P, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm picking up what you're throwing down. I'm becoming a bit more of a sucker for the punishment, for sure. But I don't know. Oh, no, you've been to enough streams. If I have a particular genre that I tend to orientate towards, like,
I don't know. I tend to do a lot more survivalist style than I do hack and slash, though I do like the hack and slash genre. I just, for my big stumbling block with them is the controls tend to get a little wonky from time to time. Lies of P, I've actually started that one up. Lies of P actually reminds me of the Star Wars Jedi, the Fallen Order, and the Survivors that came right after it. Like the whole combat sequence for like the parry and the dodge, and that's like right out of.
Oh,
I remapped the keybinds to the way it was for Fallen Order, because I've got a couple hundred hours in that series, because I was enjoying running around as a Jedi.
Those are the new ones, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I haven't played the second one. Thought the first one was good. Don't know how the second one goes, but yeah, the parry system very similar. I'd agree with you there.
It's identical. It's not just like similar. It's identical. I was like, oh, and as soon as I made the conversion, I switched over to that. That was
yeah,
literally all she wrote.
If you've started Lies of P, is that your first Souls-like?
No, I've done Elden Ring.
Oh, fuck, right, of course, yeah, you have done Elden Ring. Yeah, of course. Stupid bird.
Yeah, no, I
sorry,
did
like,
that.
I'm just, yeah.
Yeah, I did Elden Ring on stream.
Yeah, you did. You were doing it with Wars too, weren't you? Or is that on Wars' stream you were doing it with?
No, we have a Friday night collab that we were doing. We left off, we were fighting against the blood chick, the really hard one down at the bottom, just, like, eating us alive. At the bottom of the Rose
I don't know if I
Palace.
versed that one.
I can't think of the name of the
That map is huge. That game is massive. So, like, when people are just like, oh, I versed this boss, I'm like, what do they look like? What do they do? How hard do they kick your ass? That's how I remember them.
She's touted as being the hardest Souls boss to date.
I thought that was
helps.
Radahn or whatever it was.
No, Radahn. Oh, come on, Radahn's easy.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
you're right. You'd have to be a bitch and be able to beat him. Imagine that.
Melania, thank you.
Oh, Melania. Oh, her. Oh, yeah, no. I remember watching Wars struggle with that one. That's fair. That is a
Like
hard one.
I'm on journey +4 now, +5, something like that. And Radahn, I single cycle Radahn. Like, Radahn's
Damn,
pretty
okay.
freaking, like, stupidly easy. He's got a couple of really big moves. Stay out of the way, duck, dodge, you'll be fine. Radahn telegraphs everything. Melania, even when she telegraphs, you can't get away fast enough.
Mm.
She's got
Yeah,
and that waterfall
watching
is
her was insane.
such a pain in the neck. Anyways,
Hmm.
but yeah, that's
Yeah,
yeah,
now
no,
I've also
it's-
had a bit
it's-
more practice with Souls. Like, I think I'd do better with Elden Ring. I understand it better. So, yeah, because that was pretty much my first attempt of getting into them.
I will say, after playing Elden Ring and the Souls, like, going back to games like Lies of P and the Jedi series, which is touted as being Souls like, and it is,
Yeah,
but I would say
yeah.
it's closer to Lies of P than I would say it is like Elden Ring. I mean, it does have
Yeah, but
the
I guess at the
whole,
time there wasn't anything to compare it to.
you have to do the fireplace bit and everything else, and then that works out well for you.
Yeah.
Like, I get that.
Well, that's yeah, but I guess like that's why I compare it so much more to Bloodborne, because in Lies of P, you know, you go to the hotel and that's where you power up and everything like that. And in Bloodborne, you have to go to the Dreaming where you go and you power up and everything. It's exactly the same in that sense.
Yeah.
So it's not just sitting around a fireplace.
Well, the Fallen Order, you sit down at a Jedi meditation circle. That's your
you do.
fireplace. So
Yeah,
again,
so that's where the Souls light comes into it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Also, that game is like a massive talent
Shale
tree
would
to
like to
them.
know: is it winter in there? Oh, she's talking to me. Yes, winter is in here with me. It's like, huh? What? I guess she's asking you if it's winter. No, I think they're in their summer months down there.
Oh, we are in summer and it sucks. I've been pretty much having AC on like every day for a while now. Combat also Souls like, yeah, very true dance. Very Souls like combat and very unforgiving. Booty balls. Do you have to release the kitty?
He may want to go out. Well, he kept barging into my office. I finally just closed the door.
Fair.
You're in here, kitty. You're in here. If you're not, then you're not. Mama said there's food out for you. There. He's coming. He's coming for his food now. All right. Let's see. on future horizons, what does 2024 look like? It's going to be like, what are going to be some of your focuses here in 2024 for like your stream for?
Stream. Well, that's it. If I can get this in the works, I'm trying to upgrade my internet because we got a thing called the fiber to the premise, which would actually get my internet. So my upload speed would go from being single digits of about 7 to 8 to being like 50 to 70 or something like that, maybe, which would be great. Yeah, I want to try with stream and
I
try and
think
stick
the
more
internet
of my
has finally
schedule a bit more-
stabilized.
Oh, really? There you go. Congratulations.
Nice.
There you go. Now you can get food
Oh.
as well.
I said something and it died.
Nah, that'll teach you.
It's fine.
I did need to say that. So yeah, hopefully I want to be a bit more regular. I'm thinking about throwing in some like every now and again day streams or just like random maybe a weekend one here and there. As for me, I will show you a bit of a sneak peek of something that I'm working on because I have been planning, as I've been mentioned for a while, the second book, which I'm trying to get underway.
Oh,
But I shall send to you on Discord a bit of a sneak peek of something.
we get a sneak peek as to a second book. Are you doing a second book? Are you? So
Yeah.
is Fate Market going to be a series, or was that just a one-off book?
Well, it was a one-off one, but like in the back of my mind as I was writing it, I'm like, I could do a couple others based on the other locations. So I don't know what the series would be called either, but like new character following along. So it'd be because I mentioned, so we've got the Fate Market, and then I mentioned the Halls of Time, and then I also mentioned the Deadlands. And I've kind of thought that maybe it could just be a good little trilogy of the three.
Right.
Of like the different locales and world building and everything like that. However, as I've been thinking about it more and more, and I've been putting a lot more plans into Halls of Time, I've also been having ideas, because I do mention on another one known as Paradox, of doing a book about Paradox,
Mm-hmm.
which would be very fun and kind of more of a standalone part of that world, but not a series or anything like that, because I want Halls of Time and the others to be, and Fate Market and Deadlands to be really connected, but Paradox to kind of be standalone on its own sort of thing. So, yeah, there's plans, and I'm trying to plan that one out, trying to get that one underway. But Fate Market just flowed like a river. This one's a bit trickier. Time travel is always a tricky thing to deal with. So.
Oh, well, it's also tricky to make sure you get it right too.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not gonna lie, there is that small bit of pressure because I love my first one. Like I love Fate Market, and I know a lot of people also have too. And I want it to be as good. Like people will of course have preferences and everything like that. That's totally fair. But I still want it to be a good book. And not to be outshadowed by the first or something like that. And be like, oh, you did well with the first, and the second one was a bit shit. So yeah.
Now, you've talked about it. You've hinted around it. I'm gonna
Yes.
dig into this, but and I say this because when you were initially looking into the release of the book,
Yes.
I was working a very different job, so I was getting up a lot more earlier, so I got to see more of your streams, and so I was there when you were getting ready to push it out. Exactly how
Yes.
nerve-wracking was it for you when it came down to
Yes.
the release of that book?
Very much so. Very much so as well, because so I don't have an editor. The editing and everything that I've gone through it has been strictly online kind of help. Me just tearing through the book over and over and over again, but even then I've still got mistakes that are in it and I'm aware of that need to be fixed up. But yeah, it was incredibly nerve-wracking. I mean, put my heart and soul into that first one, especially because I smashed it out very quickly. So I first sat down with a whiteboard to do planning for that one on the 1st of December in 2021. But I didn't really start writing it until the 13th of February, 2022. I finished my very first draft of when the story, like the manuscript, was all done by May 8th. So it took me about 3 months to write. And my first run through of editing, I finished by about July 24th. And from that first manuscript to the first run through of editing, I think the word count went from about 135 down to about 120, and now I think it got culled down to maybe about 112k or something like that. But yeah, the nerve-wracking aspect of it, of actually pushing it and being out there, which I will say, thankfully, putting myself out there so much with the voice acting and everything like that, it was like, well, it might be shit and I might get a lot of hate, but end of day, I'm doing this for me. And that was a big motivator. But yeah, it was so nerve-wracking. It was insanely nerve-wracking, because it was a matter of, here is my book, which has just been a whole bunch of me rambling and bullshit for the last 3 months, and hopefully people enjoy it. They don't just turn around and be like, what is this? What is this, and why have you done this, sort of thing. But yeah, it was so nerve-wracking to do. And I think one of the bigger things too that it also took so long to publish was because I was trying to go through publishers and everything like that. But then actually the friend that's lent me Elden Ring got me onto KDP, and that's why I was like, you know what, this is it, this is how we do it. And then I really just kind of had to push myself. So when it came up to those days of 15th of March of really releasing it, I'm like, this has to be perfect. I have to get the cover perfect. I have to get the spine and make sure that all lines up perfect. I think I had like 5 or 6 author's editions of the book sent to me before I was like, nope, nope, nope. Because my goal was to really get it out by the 13th of February. So it was going to be like 1 year, nailed it. Wrote the book, edited the book, published the book within 1 year, which was a big goal. But I missed it by about a month, just over a month. So I was like a little bit of disappointment there, but also very impressive.
Yeah,
Still.
that just, well, smashing out a book for first-time author that inside of a year is still a heck of an achievement.
Thank you. Yeah, I have to remember that from time to time.
You should remind yourself, because there's a lot of authors out there, even some of the great ones, that their first set of novels took years and was a bit shit when it finally came out. It just is what it is.
Yeah, it is. So I guess that kind of also then touches back onto what I goals for like 2024. I would like to be able to get some money together and get a proper editor to go through the book.
I am not skipping questions. There is a redeem.
You asked
none
that
of
one before.
the questions were pushed through the redeem, and so if they've been lost to the sands of time, which is the Discord spin, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're reading chat, right? Gotcha. Oh, wait, there's a
Yes. There is a redeem
questions
for asking the questions. There's been a little note that pops up there.
It's so tough.
That is how this works.
Can't just play fast and loose
Negatory.
with the rules.
Negatory. I have a list of all of the
Scroll
redeems that came through here. Did not happen. I will scroll back through here, but I'm like, here's one from 745. He just asked it clean. There is no redeem around that.
If Nori says rise up lights, does it sound like razor blades in an Australian accent? Favorite movie was from Zoda. That one got redeemed. Well, we haven't used that. Favorite ice cream flavor.
Hang on.
The goals we're touching on. Oh, we've also got storyboard process. Oh, there have been some skipped ones.
Telling me I'm skipping them, but
that one's
that's me in my own
my God.
voice. Let's see.
First favorite stream.
We'll go check
Oh, there
what's
are
his
quite a
reward
few.
queues.
There is some. It's not just soda.
Well, I'm checking the rewards queue now. Let's see. Oh, they didn't come through.
If you want to check that, and if it's all right, I'm going to quickly be right back just so I can refill my drink.
Go
Yeah,
for it.
I will be right back.
Let me sort through this real quick. Why did that not come through the queue? Then I do apologize, Zoda, and I would be wholly inaccurate and very much so mistaken. I don't see why it did not come through. Well, we did ask about the It Takes Two. That's interesting. It's showing up here, but it did not come through. I got it. You guys are right. I am wrong. I would be bad. I do apologize. We will get those run right through right away as soon as he comes back. But I find, apparently Salty even asked a few questions too. These just did not come through. We also got a anonymous gifter who gifted a sub. See, I think a lot of this may be to the network garbage too, may not just be coming through. So that so definitely does not need to be a thing. All right. Don't forget to say sir. Wait, why are we saying sir?
Hey,
Wait,
I'm back.
sir does not need to be a thing.
Hmm?
I just pulled up all of the activities. Apparently
Have we
there's
found
been
the
a bunch of questions. Yeah, it looks like my Firebot decided to like disappear. I'm going to reset Firebot. Not like the questions are going to show back up magically from that, but
It's okay. We can scroll up and chat.
no, I got them over here in the activity feed. That's the other
Okay,
reason
you got it
for
now.
making channel redeems is I can just go pull up the activity feed, and then there are the questions.
You're a clever man, Nori.
There's a reason for all this. Okay, so we asked from Rutherford a question about the game to play. It's 1 second. I restarted Firebot, so we're gonna get another round of Zoda's intro song. I need to go fix that. Yeah. Zodicus. It's fine. Let's see. Right, so Zoda asked, okay, we did ask you about the audiobook for Fate Market. You did answer that one, so that one, we can check that one off. That was done. Zoda
You can
asked,
check that one off. However, I will also give a little mention as well.
Mhm.
I wrote a short story last year that I submitted for a book which has gone nowhere apparently, and I've been thinking about turning that one into a little audiobook. It's about 5k words, and that's a bit of a project that I'm working on at the moment.
There you go.
Yeah.
His other question that he asked, we did not answer about from an hour ago, so we were really on, missing out a bunch.
Okay.
Who was your first favorite streamer, if any?
I've had a couple, some that I'm no longer part of, and then I don't anymore due to various reasons. But actually, I will say one of the best ones, and she doesn't go live too much anymore at the moment, but Melzi, Melzii, just two eyes. Yeah, she was great fun. Such a really nice community and just good, fun place to hang out with. Doesn't go too live at the moment just because life and everything like that. But Mel's has definitely been one that I think I stayed sub to the longest as well. But yeah, very good fun over there. Who else? It may sound biased as well, but like, I've known Aelith for like a good decade or so, and I always enjoy her streams, and we always have fun whenever we do co-op streams too, so she's good fun. Pox is new, but again, that's an oldie. He's just got some damn good stuff.
Play a nerd. Welcome in.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Mel's, a couple of others. But yeah, Mel's has been a massive one. Melzy was good.
Okay. Let's see. Dope Games ask, would you make it an audiobook using voices? Specifically, I guess those voices that you've already were demonstrating. And this is again from earlier, from where apparently I
yeah. But I'd also be open to having other people voice in the book, like, especially too because I do have a decent amount of female characters in it, and I do a terrible female voice, so that would be something. But then there's also characters like my DM from my D&D games does a really good depth gravel voice that he can do for prolonged periods of time. So when I do it, it really scuffs my throat.
Yep.
It really does. But when he does it, he can do it really well. So I'd be interested in getting him in for a character. I know exactly what character I'd want him to do. So yeah, but even yourself, Nora, I've had a couple of ideas about who I wouldn't mind you doing some or help doing narrating for it, but
and look, just because you're here does not mean you have to feel obligated to rope me into anything.
I have listened to you read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, my friend. You do a damn good job.
Let's see. Zoto also asked over an hour ago, because we've been horrible at this. Could you just be existing in a dream that your 8-year-old self is dreaming, and how would you ever know?
I mean, I could be, but also I think there's a lot of things that I've done that 8-year-old me did not have even on the radar to consider at the time. So I feel like that's a pretty good way for me to be like, probably not 8 still.
Danzer's offered to do a female voice for you. He wants to also do the worst voice in your audiobook. Just, heads up.
I feel like if Danzer would do like the same female voice that I did for that clip that Momus loved so much, where I was playing with the corpse in Dead Space.
Hello there, beautiful. Your face, those lips. You're so sexy.
I'm sorry, Zoda. That doesn't look
What
like that
did
question's
you
been
do?
redeemed. We have to move on now. But yeah, funny that.
Oh. Salty Snacks would like to know, what is your storyboarding process? Do you have a big notebook of ideas, a wall of post-it notes, thumb notes?
I got a couple of them. So one thing that super helped me was if you've ever heard of it, it's called The Hero's Journey. I kind of went by that religiously, and it's so many damn good videos on YouTube about it. Holy shit, there's so many good ones. But as for storyboarding too, I have a whiteboard. I got a couple of them now actually. And originally I had it set up with like, I broke it into about 9 different panels, and I'd be like, this is chapter 1, and like these are the kind of like I did it like nearly like dot points in a timeline where I was like, I want this, and then I want this. But to start it off at the top of every one of those squares, I would be like, what is essentially like the goal, the theme, what gets covered in this section sort of part. And then I would break it down and be like, cool, so if this section, where is my notes? I had one. Where's my planning? I'm actually going back through my old stuff. Fate market, planning, whiteboard. Here we are. So working off of the hero's journey, for number 1, I had established the setting and situation, which I then broke down was, talk about Jack, his sister's life, living situation, family situation, the work in the town, which then got covered in that first chapter pretty well, in like the first 1 to 2, maybe even 3 chapters. Which, yeah, I think I expanded that one across 3 chapters or 2 chapters. And then the next square after that, I had, the bar and setting up that location and introducing Mel, which was, local band players at the bar. The girl is there for the band. They talk and get along. He asks her out. She picks the location. So it was always a matter of pick something that, like, the establishing thing or the key point, and then break it down. because my goal for every chapter was to get about 2,000 to 2,500 words in. So I just had to span out and fill and see what I could put in that space. If it went over, fine. If it went under, that's okay. But I think my shortest chapter was still about 1,900-ish. So I always tried to stick around at least the 2,000 rule. But yeah, that helped me a lot with my storyboarding. And now I use a little bit of Google Docs, a little bit of on my phone when ideas come to me, but still I stick with the storyboard and the whiteboard to just get that established timeline. And whiteboards are so good for it, just because you can be like, oh shit, I might just quickly erase this. And doing it by hand solidifies it in my mind way better than just doing it digitally. So if I type something out, you'll feel me on this, Nori, but we type all the time. We're on computers or screens or this, like every single day, so much. But when you hand write something, you tend to retain it a lot more because one, you're using the muscle of it too, of moving your hand and everything. But it's then physically in your face, like, hello, you can't just slide this to the next screen or get rid of it in that sense. So that was my method, and it really helped me. So Hero's Journey, and then breaking it down onto a whiteboard.
Nice. To be fair, I actually have a fountain pen and a special notebook that was made by Shale that I keep on my desk for all of my scribbles.
Yeah,
I
did the same
like
thing
the
to start out
feel
with. Not special,
of
yeah.
a fountain pen and the way it writes, the way the ink flows out. It helps me to write things down. I write so much that I don't recall a lot of what I write, but I write so that I don't have to recall it. There was a salesman I used to work with who religiously used to tell me, I've got more paper than brains any day. And he's not wrong. He's definitely
Look, some
not
people
wrong.
are lucky and they get that benefit of being able to essentially be like, oh, here's an idea, and then they remember it 8 years later. Some of us not so much. So
not me.
yeah.
Nope.
Yeah,
Not me. Not it.
it's not really
Not
in
it.
that ballpark.
Well, I think we actually answered some of that one because right, because we did talk about your goals for 2024. Did we talk about your goals for 2024?
Yeah, we touched on it a bit. Yeah. So book, stream, writing, try and bust out this short story audio book, because I want to put like background music and like sound effects and shit too, so it'll be like a decent little project. Also work on like art and stuff like that a bit more, because I've been really enjoying making the emotes and stuff. So
Yeah, at one point I was taking up doing so like the Hitchhiker's Guide was an attempt to see if maybe that was something that people would find interesting. So I took to reading for that and doing the different voiceovers and whatnot. It didn't take off nearly as well as I thought it was going to. So that's
really?
why that's why I kind of stopped. But I had at one point when I was doing a lot of that, I did actually want to talk with you about sitting down to see if we could figure out a time and a way to do it where we would go through and only 42 of us are I did one of the things that I wanted to try to do, because you were a voice actor, and I am not going to claim to be on anywhere close to the same caliber of voice acting, but I can do some gravelly, some roughneck voices, some of those style of audio. And my thought process was, well, what would be fun is to sit down and do a tandem read.
yeah, I'd be down for
Do
sure.
a that was one of the things that I was like, yeah, I have to put that on my list of things to try and work out how to do and sit down and talk with you. And I had reached out to you once on stream, and then the whole book thing and whatnot, people just didn't seem to be that interested in it, so I ultimately dropped the whole project, which is why I never followed up.
Well,
with that.
curious question for you then, Nora. Is it something that you want to do, like for you?
I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it.
Did
Honestly,
you
I
enjoy
was
reading The Hitchhiker's Guide?
I enjoyed reading the I think the 2 books that I did, because anybody who's read the entire series of the Hitchhiker's Guide know that the first 2 books are probably the best out of the whole series, and anything else after that is just a waste of time. I will absolutely go on record and say that, and the purists can yell and scream about it, but everything after the first book or second book kind of falls apart anyways. Is it second
It's a
or
shame when
third?
that happens. Some
Well,
books I
so
disliked it.
like the restaurant at the end of the universe was great, had good follow-up. And the one right after that was where they went and basically discovered that they created the human race from what was essentially throwaways of another planet's leftover working population that nobody wanted. Which I thought was hysterical. And the fact that at the end of the third book, you actually run across the ultimate question. Like they show it to you, not really, they don't really kind of read it out, so you never actually learn about it in the book. They just like, there it is carved on the giant mountain, there is the ultimate question. You're like, really, we went all this way and it's right here? And you're like, okay, what is it? And instead what you get is the book ends at that point, which is fine. And then he starts a new one, and the whole story and the premise behind the whole thing changes. Slarty Bartfrost becomes, Slarty Bartfrost becomes a more driving personality in it. Some of the things that occurs, that like they're chasing after some grand wicket at one point because it holds the key to some big jail cell that's supposed to keep back some evil alien menace, and like the whole premise of the story, like everything that he'd been working on in the first 3 books, and it just 90-degree right turn, ding, and you're like, wait a minute, you just broke my nose off because I lost track of what was going on.
Do you feel as though the series went on for too long?
I don't think the series went on for too long. I think what happened is the author did such a good job on the first 2, and the book series itself became really famous with avid readers. Like, you start talking about Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, whether somebody's read it or not, they know what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, like it's such a known title.
It is such a known title, and here's where I think the problem is not that it went on long. I think because it was such a well-known and was doing so well, I think publisher pushed him to make more. And so now you force creativity instead of allowing it to occur naturally. I think he could have gone like 3 or 4 more books. I think the world could have been fleshed out and could have gone in different directions. That would have made a little bit more sense. But that's my opinion. Like, hey, you could get the guy in here and he'd be like, no, that was exactly how that was always intended to go. That worked out exactly like I wanted it to go. And shut up, you don't know what you're talking about. Fair enough. Okay.
Shut up, you're wrong.
Okay. Fair. I give. I obviously have no idea what it is I'm referring to.
Yeah, it's curious.
And
I wonder. Definitely.
Yeah, it does. It's one of those, like the way he handled like the Petunia, the bowl of Petunia and the whale falling in the sky. Right, the first time you run across it and you read it, you're like, okay, yeah, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But he wraps that up when you find out that this is some guy that has been reincarnated over and over and over again, and it's Arthur that keeps killing him over and over and over again. Which is just it's hysterical, but okay. We got to get through these questions though, because we have been neglectful. So to ask, what is your favorite movie?
Oh, from different genres across the boards. One, I love Fellowship of the Ring. Fellowship is my favorite. I also love Final Fantasy Advent Children. The soundtrack in that game is phenomenal.
That was a good
Game,
soundtrack.
fucking movie. My bad. Yeah, sorry. Like that opening sequence where they have Marlene speaking, and it's just got like, you know, that that holy music. I'm like, oh, so damn good. Goosebumps every time. Other ones. I do love The Dark Knight as well. Dark Knight's good. Gatsby is really good. The Great Gatsby. Loved that. So what? Yeah, bit of a broad range there, and I also love when sticking with the dramas and stuff like that. The Imitation Game, that was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Yeah. But yeah. So my top 5 though. Plus, I'm also a big sucker for a lot of Disney movies, so. But yeah, I have to say number 1 probably Fellowship of the Ring stands up there. Dorian's good. Dorian I'd say is like top 20, not top 5 or 10. So.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'll lock in Fellowship of the Ring. Why not?
Dope Games. Zudica says is if Nori says raise up lights, does it sound like razor blades in an Australian accent?
Not quite.
No, I don't think even close.
No.
No.
Alas, no.
I would okay, so you don't have what I would consider the typical Aussie accent. Like even Wars doesn't have, but that's because for lack of, let's be honest, I'm American, and so in some cases I am very definitely stupid American when it comes to certain things, right? Like I expect certain accents when talking to people and they speak English, and you don't have that what I would consider a more traditional Aussie accent. Now saying this, I used to work for a company that was owned and operated and housed in Australia, and I sat next to a guy who was from Australia, and he had that real thick Aussie that you hear from like Crocodile Dundee and like all the stereotypical Australian accents, are probably ones that make you guys go, oh, and you're the reason why we get made fun of so much, you you know, that sort of
look,
accent.
Dundee definitely didn't help, that's for sure.
Hold my nose and say it slower.
This is a knife.
Yes.
Yeah, it's because that is rural. That's your rural kind of Aussie accent.
I hear you dying inside when you're like, oh God.
No, it's just like because I grew up on it, man. Like whenever we had The Simpsons, you know, like I heard it all the time too. And they did the exact same thing. Because what's that episode? Bart makes a prank phone call or something like that. Oh, I'm trying to remember what the actual thing is. Yeah, Bart makes a prank phone call to some Australian kid, and they're like, "Me didgeridoo, mate. It's gonna charge us too much." Which partially makes me laugh now that I'm an adult, but also as a kid being like, "What country are they meant to be from?" Well, that's Australian. I was like, "But I'm Australian. Is that how we sound?" It's like when you see yourself in the mirror being like, "Is that how I look?" And I was like, "Is this how we sound? Are we broken? What's wrong with us?" So, yeah, but that kind of the nasal and the drawn out is where you get your rural Aussie. Right. Whereas then but then I mean, like, shit, look at Hemsworth. He's Australian.
Well, yes.
Look at Margot Robbie. She's Australian.
But Crow's refined Australian Aussie.
True.
But
it's a
it's
little bit classy.
But but that's the whole thing, right? Your southern accent is just that. It's
exactly the same. Yeah, like maybe in like the southern is just Kentucky, Australian accent is just rural. It's just different areas.
But
It's
so
like even
Kentucky
between
is
Wars and myself.
it would be the more refined area of the southern.
Yeah.
It's very much
So I'm
regional.
just refined.
Yeah,
southern.
I give Wars a hard time about it too. I'm like, you just never sound Aussie, and so I don't look. I know she's down in Australian. I don't.
Yeah.
It took me a while before
So-
it clicked in my head that no, she's born raised down there, but you guys aren't
Born and raised.
out there every day on your didgeridoos.
And our didgeridon'ts. But that's it. Even like, because I'm Queensland, she's South Australia. She's down where my family is. And as Dan's is saying there in chat, regional as well. So
Yes.
if you get Wars and I to say the word pool or cool or something like that, I will say it pool and cool. And she will say it pule and cool. It's generally a lot of South Australian will sound like that.
Yeah. Interesting.
So it's a little thing that I picked up from my family at least. She may not. I'd have to double check it, but yeah.
It's just
It's just a funny little thing, you know?
it's a fascinating thing. It's a different. So like I took up learning Japanese,
Mm.
and one of the things that you do when or at least I do when I learn a foreign language is I immerse myself in the culture, because language is just that, it's very cultural based, and the more you know about the culture, the easier it is to learn it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
for
there
sure.
was a comic group that I watched nonstop because they were hysterical, and they regularly spoke in what they would occasionally, when they were doing something stupid, like, this is definitely going to hurt me, or we're gonna make fun at whatever this happens to be. They would talk in what they call an island accent. And so it's a very subtle change in the way they pronounce and the way they the language pattern rolls out. But you can tell that you still understand what they're saying. It just doesn't sound right. It's like listening to Yoda talk. It's about the closest I can put it. But they poke
Yeah.
fun at that, right? And you're like, okay, they're having a good laugh at that, and I get that. And so, oh, we're getting rated.
Hello, Raiders. Howdy.
This
moth raid.
It's a raid. It's an Alton Maris raid. Wow. Welcome in, Alton Maris. Welcome in. Welcome in, Alton Maris Raiders. Impressive.
Howdy, doody. It's been a while since I jumped by your mothy little flame.
Oh, I still periodically roll on by and say hi. She's got a routine to make her cat talk, and so I'll drop in and make her cat say things to her all the time. Like, you don't pet me enough.
I'm so lonely. Why don't you love me, please?
It's all good fun. How's it going? Did you have fun? I think she's been doing some Baldur's Gate. Last I checked.
Baldur's
I think
Gate.
that's
Wait,
what she's
let's
been
see it.
doing. Yeah, I did. Okay, good. Yes, nailed it. Cha-ching. Trying to remember. I'm trying. Oh, that's right. She's been also doing Horizon Zero Dawn lately. Squirrel's been doing that as well.
In anticipation for number 2 coming to the PC.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Let's see. Dope Game says, if you got three wishes from a magic lamp, what wishes would you make?
Number 1, I would wish to be perfectly physically and mentally healthy until the day I died. Don't care when I die, but just physically perfect. And just like mentally all there, because like I'm already a little bit batshit. But like, because I've seen when you get old and everything like that, I don't want to become invalid or like bedridden and just be completely incapable. I'm like, oh, trapped within your own body just seems awful.
Dude, that's just painful.
Yeah, like I maybe controversial opinion here. I believe in euthanasia, because some people
Not as
just don't have a quality
controversial
of life.
as you would think. I think people have.
Okay, good.
I think honestly, if you can recognize that
It's true,
your
Old Mars. I would.
animals are of that age, and it's not nice to keep them floating around. Why is it suddenly not okay to do that for our aunts and uncles who's made that
Exactly.
decision on their own? Like I
Exactly.
would not kill somebody who's like, no, don't kill me. I'm going to stick around here until I'm stupid. Then fine, by all means. But if they're like constantly in pain and they're like, you know what, just I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah.
Punch
Like
it.
I've had family members, or like, well, even my nan at the moment, you know, she's real old. She's in so much pain, but her body's just breaking down. Her mind completely there. Like it's getting a bit old and foggy with memory, but like completely there. But like her body just is sustaining, and it's like every day is just torture. And I'm like, oh, and she's been like that for like nearly 8
and
years.
you're absolutely
and
right. Altmaris,
awful.
end of life decisions are hard and usually extremely controversial.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I was like, potentially controversial, but yeah.
All right.
But
So 3 wishes.
also, yes, I would just drop dead one day. But I'd be like Master Oogway, you know, from Kung Fu Panda. It's like, my time has come, and then I'm just gone.
That would be the nice way to just like, see you guys later.
Right? I'm out. Catch you, bruv. Just get to fade out. The other 2 wishes. Yeah, look, I will be the dick here and say, I would wish to have any superpower that I could think of to be able to turn it on and off. My inner nerd at heart would hate myself for the rest of time if I didn't wish for that. How convenient would it be? How damn convenient would it be? I'd be like, oh, I might just, go for a trip, teleport, fly. Well, Dance, think about it. If I had any superpower in the world, I could talk to ducks. And I could be like, hey, come live with this dude. He's a pretty cool guy. He owns a bathtub. They're like, what's a bathtub? And I'd be like, you're in for a treat, my little feathered friend. You're in for a treat. As for a third one. I'm not too sure. I'll save it in the bank in case someone spites me. But yeah, yeah, not too sure.
We did the would you play It Takes Two with me already? Blue Potato asks, Crow, may I steal your shoes?
Which ones? Like couple of them, if you want. You know, sign up for the Only Crows. I'll wear them for a while first as well. But I'm gonna go with only some. You can have a couple of my. Oh god, I have to use the wrong word here, otherwise you guys will jump on it like a fucking freight train. You can have my flip flops, not my thongs.
Well, what would you normally call those?
I'd call them thongs.
Thongs.
Yeah.
I'm not.
And
First
I
of
know
all,
you guys,
I'm not going. I'm not going to jump all over you
that's
about
what
that.
you call your G-strings.
Well, so we call G-strings. We also call them thongs.
Yeah. We just call them G-strings, or if you go rural Australian, G-banger.
That's I know. In Spanish we call them zapatos. So I mean, they're electrifying.
So
but
what was it? What?
Zapatos.
That's a Pokemon.
That's fine. That's fine. Do you wear those often? Like, are those your? We're just going to extend this question out. Is that your preferred shoe? Is your thongs, or do you have like? Like if you had to wear
Honestly, I normally wear
one
quite a deal of Converse.
Converse.
Yeah, Converse shoes.
Yeah.
But I do wear my thongs every day. Yes.
Say like
Plus,
if
too,
you
I do a little bit of. This is me again, where I mentioned about being a little bit batshit. I wear whenever I get new thongs, I'll buy 2 pairs, and then I will switch one shoe with each. So I wear the left shoe from one set and the right shoe from one set. So it's a little bit of mix and match, but also that mentality, yeah.
we're gonna roll this back just a second because I got to make certain I understand this correctly. You buy yes, Shell. We're talking about flip flops.
Yeah.
First off, anybody who's not been listening in, you missed that part. We covered that part already.
Yeah, that part was covered, yeah. I knew it would get misinterpreted, so I was like, I called them flip flops to start with, but then the truth came out.
Sandals too are another word for it.
See, we call sandals like something else as well. Like it's a
Anyways.
whole different kind of shoe.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, and it's fine. Like I said, I worked next to a bunch of Australian guys for almost 2 years, and you could have called them thongs, and I would have known what you were talking about, and I would just giggled a little bit at that just because that's the American side of me.
Yeah, I'll do it for the others though. You all can interpret. Maybe that's it. Maybe underneath this trench coat, it's just me wearing a bright purple G-banger. Rhinestones all the way across the elastic. We used to call them thongs here too. Those always followed up by sandals. So thong sandals.
Yes.
So strange.
Strange. No. Now, come on. Now we are not. We're just talking about
Well,
words.
This is. Let me find. Could be hostility years. This is what we call sandals. Oh, that one's got fire on the side. It goes faster.
It's got racing stripes, right?
Yeah, racing stripes and fire on the side. It goes faster. Get that zoom.
The zoom. Oh yeah, those are just sandals.
Okay, cool. So you guys also call those ones sandals. All right, that's fine.
Yeah, those are just sandals. Couscous. Yes, I actually know that word.
Oh, good old cuss. Yep. I do need to trigger.
Okay, but so like your daily if you had one pair of shoes that you had to basically run around in and that was it, would be sandals?
Yeah,
or-
look, it'd either be the flip flops or my Converse. So yeah, I'll give you that one. You can have my sandals, or my flip flops. Fuck's sake. It's not going well for me. Run!
Tastes so nice, you
Dead.
say it twice. Damser, I tell you honestly, we were going to do that. So we do some Valheiming around here. Damser made a comment, and it reminded me of a Moto. And so
Moto likes you.
Oh, we had the whole thing. We were going to line it up. So if you've ever played Valheim, the trolls are big,
little bit,
blue, and fat. And we were going to lure one into the water,
Yeah.
stand there on the shore. It was supposed to be myself, DM Cerberus, and Rutherford. And me and DM Cerberus were going to be the one that be looking at Rutherford like, don't look now, but Moto likes you.
Perfect.
You know, it had the whole thing lined up. You know, you like some round, you like some chunky. And if you know Rutherford, where this gets funny is if you know Rutherford, then you already know that Rutherford, we call him the sexiest man on the internet, and for a very good reason. Mostly just because we love the guy. But he's so much. We get into a lot of trouble around here. I'll just say that, and we'll leave that as it is. We get into a lot of trouble around here.
Yeah, fair. It's the best way to have fun.
But yeah, we were going to do a whole skit around that was going to prove to be.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember.
A bit of Valheim, and I got ridiculously dicked on by anything that could hurt us ever. So
This is actually pretty standard, is to get picked on.
Yeah, but it was kind of relentless because we'd be just going through something and they would 100% ignore dance. And I wouldn't be near them and they'd be like, oh fuck, is that Crow? And they just come bolting and they're just out of nowhere. I don't understand why.
You know, sometimes some people just have the touch.
It's true. It's true. And apparently that game wanted to touch me real bad.
Oh, it was going to touch you all right.
Yeah.
It's been 84 years.
Meat shield.
Yeah, it's meat shield. Let's see. What Danzers ask, what video game world would you live in?
I feel like a good one would be Pokemon. It'd be very fun. Like, and it doesn't seem too difficult of a world. They don't exactly have like a great deal of issues. But also, I am a big fan of Digimon as well, and having my own Digimon would be awesome.
Okay, so did you like Digimon before they started morphing with the kids, or after they started?
Oh yeah,
morphing
like
with
I
the
was there
kids?
from like, so we had, I don't know what you guys would have had like during the week before school, like cartoons and stuff like that.
We had
but,
cartoons.
We had something. Yeah. But like we had a specific show called Cheese TV, and that was on there. That was on it. So we had like when Pokemon first dropped, that came through, and it took out one of my favorite Spider-Man series, which I'm not bitter about, but it's only been like 27 years, and I'm still not letting it go. Yeah, look, it didn't end. It had Venom, it had Carnage, it had everything. It was a cool answer. Whatever, it's fine. I'll let it go one day. But not this day.
You don't have to let that one go, brother. I would still be. You don't take Spider-Man off the airwaves. That is not how that works.
Yeah. Well, did you ever see it? It was Spider-Man Unlimited. It was a
I was not.
1999 Spider-Man.
See, I grew up with Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends.
That was good too.
Like I did old school. I got you by a few years there, Crow.
Yeah, you do. But like, so I'd seen one of the old Spider-Mans, but look at that design, man. It's sharp. I like the thick ink work that works on it too. Like the line work was really good. The story was really fun. I've watched it as an adult too, and I was like, it holds up. It holds up quite well.
Grew up with live action. I saw the live actions on television. Whoop. He would not be the only one. I remember that, and the freaking rope that used to spew out from his hands when he would go and web the top of a tree to launch to take off. Yes, because that was what they used for his spider webs back in those days. I I've seen those. I love doing that to, especially. Yep. Like that'll drive Shale nuts. She'll be like,
The 1970s.
"You're not old enough to know that." Yeah, I am. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Great
That's a
zone.
really good question though, because there's also so many games where you're like, that would be fun to live in that world, or that would be cool to live in that world. Like hell, look at all the MMOs, you know? Like,
Now, okay, we got to be careful talking about MMOs because that can take a real steep path.
in
Um,
what way?
well, so like I would return back to, if I had an MMO that I had to go live in and go back to, I would go back to the EverQuest MMO. EverQuest was by
Oh.
far a bigger world. Now, if we were talking about fantasy, EverQuest. If we were like my personal favorite, I would absolutely go back to Galaxies, Star Wars Galaxies. Far, far better, bigger world,
Really?
multiple planets, spaceship faring, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, no, that would be where I would retire at.
Yeah, that's fair. I didn't get to play any of those. Like, my first MMO was WoW, so.
You poor thing. No.
Yeah, well, no, legitimately, yeah, like, that's it. Like, what can I say? I'm an underprivileged child. But also, too, like, growing up, my mum was very much so like, computers are bad, you have to be outside. And I was just like, I'm quite overweight. Do you think I'm going to enjoy the outside world? No, let me stay inside with my video games. And then she started playing and being like, these video games aren't bad. And I was like, you fucking hypocrite. There was multiple days where she was late picking me up from school and she was like, oh, I was playing Age of Empires. And I was just like, that's cool. I was sitting outside my school waiting to be picked up.
Dancers, if you like RuneScape, I would say definitely go check out a Saphira876. She does a lot of RuneScape playthroughs on her streams. Like she still does RuneScape, and we'll go on about that for hours. Like, I think a Neopet. Oh God, do you remember
I
those
didn't get one.
Tamagotchi
I
pets?
remember them, but I didn't get to have them. Oh, Tamagotchis were good.
It's a freaking
Oh,
egg
yeah,
on a
look at my cute little
keychain.
Neopet. It's cute.
And they got a little picture of them just like. It felt like the equivalent. You know that meme that we've got at the moment where it's just like, what did you get for Christmas? I got a baseball. I got a this. I got a that. And someone's like, I got a rock. That was me.
Hey.
That was very much so my world.
I had a pet rock. Don't be besmirching the pet rocks like that.
Hey, I'm not besmirching pet rocks. This wasn't a pet rock. This was me picking up a rock, being like, this is the equivalent of what I have to work with. What time ago watching the Digimon? Yeah, Digimon were good. But like, yeah. So if I then again, Star Wars one was good fun. Final Fantasy World is fun for multiple reasons. Yeah, so many good games, but I'd hate to live in some worlds. Like some
Oh,
video
yeah.
games were just like, great video game, fucking atrocious world to live in. Like, I love Frostpunk, but I would
Oh.
hate to be in that world.
No, there's no way. Pass.
Yeah.
An avocado. Dang.
Love that kid. I'm trying to think too. But yeah. So I have to go. Maybe Pokemon would be one of the safest best bets and everything like that, or the Digimon worlds. Otherwise, my first thought was Kingdom Hearts. But
Kingdom Hearts wouldn't be bad.
yeah, it wouldn't be too bad. Wouldn't be too bad at all. It's not like there's a great deal of shit that really hits the fan in that world. It's like, oh, the Heartless or the Nobodies. And then you're like, well, yeah.
Kingdom Hearts would be
Beyond
interesting
that-
just because you get all of the benefits of a magic system with tech. multiple planets, different worlds, dimensions, and then a fantastic transit system.
Oh, the gummy ships?
Yes.
Yeah.
Those
See,
are some
my
of
only
the-
problem with ever thinking about that sort of thing is if you're not a main character, living in that world is probably pretty damn boring. Like, can you imagine living in a world of magic and keyblades and shit like that? You see some kid run around with a key and you're just like, what's that? And he was like, later, skater, I've got some cool quest to go on. Go and enjoy your ice cream. And you're like, no. It's like just being a regular. Okay, cool.
Oh, I guess. I mean, that would be one way of looking at it, I suppose.
'Cause I mean,
But
like, what's the point of living in a video game world if you don't get the benefits? I mean, for that sense, we could be living in that video game world now. We're just on a world that hasn't got the magic system in it yet.
We could. You are absolutely correct.
Like, maybe that's all that Mars was, and they just got a massive game over screen.
Would they, though?
I mean, there's no one left, so I feel that's a pretty good sign of game over.
But what if the Martians actually just matriculated from Mars to Earth?
Yeah, look, fair.
Then it wouldn't be a game
Oh, man,
over.
if that
They
was the
just
case, 'cause
started.
I've seen
they-
conspiracy theories of that. Oh my god, they started a new save file. You're so right. They did. They were just like, oh no, I fucked this one. I'll do it again. It's like when you play through Baldur's Gate and you're like, oh, I've made a horrible choice. Shadowheart didn't like me that much. And then you just like scum save back and you're like, there we go. Now she loves me. All is well.
I can't say anything. We've been doing Baldur's Gate. We've been doing an RP Baldur's Gate on Sundays.
Yeah, you guys have been doing work. Like, that's
and
impressive.
we wipe
And no deaths, right?
No. We actually had to restart again because our latest. So there was the first character deaths that resulted from Zoda crossing the picket line. And then after that, there was the longest group that we had running who just recently died before we went on Christmas break. And then we've got the news group that is literally 4 assholes. I don't know.
What do you mean crossed a picket line? As in like the one at the Druid camp?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, you can't do that.
We were trying to figure out if we were actually going to survive. We didn't survive. We completely died.
That would be fun to actually try and do. That would be a lot of fun.
Yes, they do
What
stink.
difficulty are you guys playing on?
I don't remember. I think balanced.
Okay. Yeah.
And the thing
A
here
happy
is
medium.
is that, well, it is a happy medium, but the thing here is that, like, me and Zoda have almost no playtime in the game. Brotherford and Cerberus have both, I think, beaten the game or have definitely gotten way past where we're starting at. So me and Zoda are just kind of like winging our way through this, making whatever random decisions that we think is cool at the moment. Like, ooh, this looks like it's fun. Let's go do this, or let's go do that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the other 2 guys, who would normally be like voice of reason, like, we probably shouldn't do that, have been staying completely out of it and just letting us make whatever random decision. Yeah, so Serb runs around like our last group. Serb ran around as a monk and he just punched stuff. That was it. That was his thing. I played a gnome druid thief that was hiding out underneath the floorboards of the previous gnome no, I think it was a gnome druid actually, or a gnome thief druid. He just started into druidship. That was the previous character. So I've done 2 gnomes back to back, and they both died.
Or gnomes. They get so much flack, but they're so much fun.
Well, you know, you just gotta get out there and do the thing, and then when you wiggle your fingers, we can get into all kinds of small little places, and you know, being able to turn into a cat really isn't that much of a distinction as far as a height differential. Like, I don't find myself looking at the world any different because it's all still at eye line when I shrink down to the cat form, so it's fine. It's fine. It's all good. It's all good.
Everything's fine. It's fine. It's all good in the hood. I like
Take
playing
care,
gnomes or
Brotherhood.
like small races. They're good fun.
Oh yeah, it's definitely fun. But yeah, that's but we've wiped several times now. And because of those said wipes, we've started over. Because that's been the agreement, is that we would always start over if the entire party wiped. We had a couple of close calls, ran for really long, got almost to the end of the first act of Baldur's Gate, and we ran across Grim, the big giant metalloid dude at the bottom of some kind of in the smithing foundry or whatever. And he just,
yeah, the adamantine.
we didn't have a long rest or anything. We went in there like limping, and he just stomped all over us. Like, we didn't have a chance.
Yeah, he's rough.
And he did. He stomped us right into the dirt. And then that was the end of it. We started over again.
Yeah, if you're not prepped for that fight, that could be pretty brutal.
And what I found was interesting, though, is when we started over again, we all made characters. Randomly made characters. Like, there was no discussion about who was going to play what and when or anything of that regards. Just made characters. Like, oh, time to make new characters. We died. Let's go. We all went to the character select screen. We all made characters. There was no discussion of it. And what we finally got done with, 4 new characters that started out our next play world when we get back into play again, are legitimately, I'm playing a human or an elf necromancer who's just evil.
Nice.
Serb is playing what's the I can't think of the race, but he's a paladin, like a pure straight paladin who has no desires or care to deal with anything that's of questionable intent. So me and him already don't get along.
So a nerd. Yep. Cool.
Zodicus is playing an ogre barbarian, or an orc barbarian. He's got like 2 brain cells. And as far as he's concerned, he's got no use for all these finger wigglers. So,
As in casters?
yes.
Amazing.
But yeah, we've been RPing, putting in some work. But yeah, it's been a thing. It's been a good time.
Good fun, though.
Oh, it is. It is. It adds to the game element, I think. It makes it more interesting to play.
A lot more risk to it as well, because if you guys die,
Oh yeah, you're out this time. Start over. Yeah, we've done that like twice now, I think.
oh, the intro would shit me so hard. That'd be the problem.
Yeah, it's not been pleasant. But you know, we're committed to it. So it's been good fun. Yeah. We are coming up close to the end of our Talk Tuesday, though.
Oh,
so-
really?
Yeah, It's just fun. It's you're like, wait, we're done already, dude. We've been going at
Yeah,
this for like
like-
2.5 hours. Time slips by when you're not paying attention to it and you're having a good time.
It has been good. This is very good.
But we like to have fun around
Alright,
here, though.
so do we have to
so-
like speed run some questions then, or what else we got? Have
No,
you got
well,
any more,
I-
though? Like,
I think the questions are empty. I think we've gotten everybody's questions asked and answered at this point, other than like
Okay.
where's that? Really, you're just going to, there you are. Why can't I find this stupid thing? Yeah, so the last anything I have coming through was Danzer's asking us, what video game world we would live in.
oh yeah, no, that was a good one. Yeah, that got us on
Yeah,
a good little tangent. Oh,
I think we've got, so we'll ask some final questions and
of course.
get some last pearls of wisdom.
The wisdom is
From
good.
you?
Yes, I very
Oh,
much so
wait a
understand.
second. Yeah. Oh, Wars popped in here and oh, that's 2 months ago. Okay. Phew. Like what? I don't know.
I didn't see Warzy show up. I was about to be very
No,
surprised at that
it's this request queue on the web page is a little out of sync. All right.
one. Don't know what web pages you're requesting me on, Nori.
No. I was just double checking all of the places where, because I think a lot of this has been due to the storms rolling in overhead. So I've had a lot of dropped things, and so I'm just double check and make certain we've got everything lined up there. All right. Oh, the answer's like, wait a minute. Ooh, that's a really good question. That's a fantastic question. It was actually one of the questions I had in my list there, Danzer. But Danzer asked, who would you want to work with if you could voice act with anyone?
Oh God.
I'm going to add on to that one because I'm certain that there's going to be some other influencers too. So I'm going to add to that and say, where would you like to voice act for? If you had your pick of places to go voice act with,
Like the media or
company, media, whatever. Yeah. So not only are you looking for somebody that you might want to voice act with, but what company would you do it for? Because sometimes that also plays in the fact, oh, I'd like to go do this because then I could go and work with so and so. You know what I mean?
company wise, I don't really have anyone that I'd be like shoot for or something like that. However, see, Disney's in a lot of trouble, but it would also just be cool to voice something in Disney or Pixar or something like that. So that would be cool. I'd love to be able to get into a video game or an anime or something like that, of course. Oh my god, I'm trying to think. There's some massive ones. Like, of course, the cast of Critical Role, of course, would be a massive one, but there's a couple of others as well. Just trying to think. Oh, Mark Hamill would be fantastic. Mark Hamill would be a huge one.
Oof.
I'm not sure if he's really doing many roles anymore, though. I know he doesn't do Joker, but
Oh, yeah. I was like, why Mark? Oh, never mind. I know why Mark Hamill.
yeah. But like, just also too, like, so iconic. I mean, he was also Ozai and like so many others.
Well, yes.
Think. Oh god, I'm trying to think of what the guy's name is. I have to Google what he's from. Yeah, I'm gonna bugger this up how it's said, but Yuri Lowenthal, who did Spider-Man from the recent Spider-Man games. He also voiced Sasuke and Naruto and a couple of other ones. But yeah, so he would be awesome to work alongside. Ooh. But yeah, absolute goals would be to do something alongside like Travis Willingham, and of course Laura Bailey. But those two in particular, because I met them back in like 2017 at Supernova, which is like a nerd con here, and I asked for them advice and everything like that. And I would love to be able to work alongside them to be like, you guys gave me this advice back in 2017 of November and everything like that. I took it, I rolled with it, I worked at it, and massive inspiration, and I got to hear on some of your advice, sort of thing. So that would be huge to turn around with. Yes, that is something big. Oh, I'm trying to think of him. It's funny, isn't it? Like, it's one of those things. It's like, what's your favorite movie? And then you suddenly forget nearly every favorite movie until you have to think about it. But, like, we've also had that. My brain. I'm just trying to think of characters first, so that I can be like, who of these characters and their voice actor? Because that would be really cool. Something on South Park would be a lot of fun too. I feel like that would just be a real good fuck around. Yeah. So I'll lock those ones in. But Laura and Travis for sure. Yuri would be a massive one. What's her name? Nope, wrong one. I'm trying to think. I have to Google. One sec. Mary Elizabeth McGuinn. She has done some awesome roles, and her speaking voice is just phenomenal. Like,
Frankie, thank you for G herself. Hey G, thank you.
Yeah, like, she just sounds so articulate, and just how she speaks in general, I'm like, oh my lord, you could say anything and I would listen to it. Yes. Like, how some people just have that nice voice and you're like, yes, speak and I will listen.
Well, you say that, right? But I mean, you understand that your voice is not that unpleasant to listen to yourself, right?
I have been told this once or twice, but I will say, like, as far as compliments of like getting compliments go, that is like the most consistent and like reoccurring compliment that I ever get. Being like, you have a nice voice, and I'm like, thank you. Yes. I will run with this for the rest of the year. Thank you. I'll live with this.
Blanchett.
Dan's. Yeah.
G, we are currently doing an interview with a fellow streamer.
There it is.
And author
exactly that.
Named Dat Crowdo, or Crow as he's very affectionately called by his community and his friends. It is who we are talking about and talking to on today's Talk Tuesday. Voice actor, author, and streamer extraordinaire.
Dante Bosco would also be cool. He'd be very cool. He voiced Zuko, and he was Rufio in Hook, but like, yeah, he voiced Zuko in Avatar, so.
Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah, that would be fun.
I've met him before at a convention too. Howdy. Yeah, but yeah, I met him once as well. And he was just super chill. He was just a really nice guy to chat to and everything like that. Because, you kind of have to rush through conventions, of course. But he took the time and answered a couple questions and shit. So it was just really nice.
Rufio! Yeah, I know.
Rufio. But yeah, him for sure. I think
Yes.
those are the ones.
G herself is one half of another fabulous streaming couple. G and Wiz is the name of their channel. You'll catch them on. Yesterday they were doing some Minecraft. So they were having a bit of fun with that too. Love Hook. Yes. Hook was a fabulous movie. Honestly, I think some of I'm hating myself because I'm stumbling over his name. Robin Williams. Some of Robin Williams' fantastic work. Not. Yeah, normally, we would run some shout outs and whatnot, but we've kind of turned that off for Talk Tuesdays, so that we can just do our interviews and whatnot. But yeah, the Hook was like, I really enjoyed that movie, probably far more than I probably should, but it's all right. It's a
I
good
actually
movie.
missed out on that one as a kid, and I didn't see that until like I was well into my teen years.
Oh, I am so sorry.
Oh, don't be. I still got to appreciate it. Like, I got older and I was like, this is so good. I can imagine as a kid it would have been phenomenal, but I still really enjoyed it. So damn good.
It was
But,
such
like,
a
because
good.
I went from the like 2002 Peter Pan movie, or was it? Maybe it was earlier. But like, yeah, I went from that one and then I watched the Hook one and I was like, yeah, this shit slaps. This is so good. And it just had that 90s feel to it, you know?
I'm sorry. Every time somebody does that, all I hear is Rufio's character doing his best like mafia impersonation. You are the pen.
Oh,
It's so good, so good.
I reckon he had fun with that movie too.
I
All
would
of
have
them
had
did. It just looked like a fun movie to be a part of.
that would have been a blast. But
Yeah.
Now, Danzer looks like he's committed to being your most vocal, appreciative veteran.
Dan's my
Do you,
boy.
do you regularly game with Danzer?
Oh, we game, we hang out, we do our movie nights and everything like that. Because he's like a 20-minute drive or so from me, so I get the benefit of actually spending time with him in person. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. He's our IRL friend. So
you
yeah,
go.
ride or die. That's it. We met a couple years back actually through an ex, and yeah, we just really kicked it off even harder. So we were just like, fuck yes. So that's why we play all sorts of shit. Like we did. He mentioned it earlier actually, but we were playing the DC online game, and the entire time I think we were running around doing the "I'm Batman" voice. And the next day, both of us were just like, "Holy shit! I feel like my voice has just gone through a blender." Because we were both just flying around, just being like, "We need to save Metropolis. It's for the good of the people." And that was like 2-3 hours of it,
Oof.
which was
That's
fun and
rough.
very funny. But yeah, we were both pretty buggered afterwards. So that was definitely a
That'll do it.
something.
That will
Yeah.
definitely do it.
Oh, it was very funny though. So hashtag no Rugrats. But yeah, that was good. That was very good fun. Milk and honey for days. Yeah, it's true. That is a good little fun tip there. Whenever your voice is feeling buggered, just have some milk and honey and it'll feel better soon.
Okay. So, final question, and then we're going to move into some final thoughts. If you had, and you've probably had lots of really great pieces of advices and whatnot. So if you could go back and talk to 10-year-old you, or you from 2019, and you just starting to get into streaming, or anybody who's just starting getting into streaming, what single piece of advice would you give them, and why?
The streaming in particular, it would 100% be stick with games that you want to play and that you're enjoying. Because I've played games in the past that were like trending or, just kind of popular at the time that I didn't particularly enjoy or wasn't that big of a fan of or anything like that. And like I could feel it, and I'm pretty sure people watching could feel it, and it just wasn't the same kind of energy. Whereas, like, when I was getting into Hades, for example, play the shit out of that. We love that. When I was playing Frostpunk, love the shit out of that. Whereas, say, Dishonored 2, I stopped playing that altogether because I just wasn't enjoying it. But I could feel my energy was lower in that one than it was for some other ones. And it's about you having fun. You're not there necessarily to just entertain and... Like, yes, that's a part of it. But I think the mentality behind why you get into streaming is also a big part of it. So I did it for funsies, and then I kind of really have to remind myself from time to time, if I'm not having fun with it, then I shouldn't be doing it. So that's a massive one for me. However, I do know that some people also get into it with a very different mentality of, they want to make money off of it, or they want to make it a career. If that's the case, like most things in life, you'll have to go with either what's trending or you really have to put the time and effort behind it. For me, it's a hobby. I'd love to see some growth and like to kind of get somewhere with it, but I don't think it's ever be something that I'd want to do full time. So it's not something that I could focus and give the full time to. Like, there's a million different things that I could probably work on to make it a bit better, or do this or do that. But then also, that's just not what my focus is. I want it to be good. I've never cared about being great. So, yeah, biggest piece of advice I could give is to do it for yourself and make sure that you're having fun with it. If you're not having fun with it, don't do it.
All right. Okay, and any final comments that you want to make? This is anything you want to say? Any upcoming projects, plans, something you want to brag about? Whatever you want. The floor is yours.
Gosh, not that I can really think of. Like, as I said, working on the short story one, which will be a bit of a bigger project. Trying to stick with the stream schedule. Want to try working on the second book. Something that I'll always preach, and I don't do it anywhere near enough on my own stream as well, but number one thing that you can probably do to take care of yourselves, guys, is work on your own mental health. If you need days off, take some self-care. Because I will make 100% and a million different dark humor jokes and very morbid ones. But I'm a massive advocate for, like, mental health awareness too. That's a massive one.
Right.
But also, yes, Fate Market out now via Amazon and Kindle. Thanks, Dan. 100%. Oh my gosh, wow. Wow, buy that book. Leave that Crodo review. Enjoy that book. Tell your friends about it. And what's more important, tell your friends to buy their own copy. So, yeah, but legit, no, that is the thing. If you have read the book and you've got it off Amazon, please do leave a review. It helps the circulation. It just helps it get more out there. Tell friends, tell family. And yeah, that is a big one for sure. Keep an eye out for further ones. If you need voice work done, usually the best place to reach me is either through Instagram. Yeah, it's probably the best one to send, like, slip into my DMs, I guess, for that one. But yeah, that's probably some of the best stuff that I could chill. I can't think of anything else really.
Well, all of Crow's socials are there up on the screen. You can also find them on his about page if you go to Dat Crowdo at twitch.tv.
Yeah, sliding in now. Thank you, Dance. I love it when you slide in. Yeah. Can't think of too much else. I really can't. I feel like I'm gonna, like, we'll end this, and then like 20 minutes later, after I have some lunch as well, I'll be like, oh shit, I should have said this or I should have said that. But
well, yeah, you're always welcome to come on back and and
Good.
drop whatever other information you want in the streams. Yeah, I don't care.
Fair. Thank you, Nora. Thank you. Well, that's it too. Thanks to time zones and stuff like that. I'm just like, half the time I'm either at work or I'm asleep or doing something. But like, yeah, we lined this one up and I'm like, perfect. Wednesday, got nothing on. I'm not going to go to the gym. I'm not going to be bothered with any of that shit. Or just hang out and we'll have a good time. And I think we've had a great time.
Oh, it's been fantastic. It's been another bonzer of a Talk Tuesday.
I love these Talk Tuesdays, man. I'm so glad that you do it. Nah, legit. Like, you laugh, but they're so much fun.
Oh, they are. They're a lot of fun for me. I get to sit around and have these absolute fantastic conversations with fantastic and amazing people. And even when chat's not asking questions, I still get to ask questions and dig around, and we get to know each other a little better, and it's absolutely fantastic. And
wait a minute, don't ship to Sweden? What?
Bonds is such a good word.
Sweden, you should be able to. You should be able to get it from the UK store.
Never mind, the hardcover ships to Sweden. He's found it. There
Yeah,
we
but
go.
even the paperback too. Like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Maybe the paperback can't.
Who knows?
I was so sure that you could. Paperback, hardcover, both are nice. Nori has a hardcover. So,
I do. I have one signed. The hardcover is sexier. Yes, it is a lot sexier too when it comes with an autograph from the author himself. It sits on my bookshelf with all my favorite books. So.
thank you. When you do finish it, you will have to give me like feedback and good
Sure.
breakdowns and stuff like that. But I have a question.
Absolutely.
How far into it are you?
To be honest, I haven't been able to pick it back up since I got past like the third chapter. I've been busy with work stuff, so I haven't.
Yeah, that's all
time to
good. I
get
was just
back
going
into
to
it.
ask like, who's your favorite character so far or anything like that. But
I haven't felt
yes,
the characters just yet. You're getting some good build up on them. I'm enjoying the story so far, but I haven't like centered around the favorite character. I have some that was one of the things I did want. We'll have to take that on another offline conversation. But I have some ideas on like voices for some of these characters. I'm like watching and read. I'm like, ooh, he sounds like he would talk like this or like that I definitely have very ideas on how the voices are sounding, and I'm just kind of curious, more so just because I wanted to compare notes with you. Like, okay, this is how I hear.
Oh,
their
yeah,
voices,
definitely.
And how do you hear their voices?
yeah. No, hit me up with that one. I'm super curious. Like, I did an interview last year at a school about the book and everything like that at my old high school. And it was kind of similar along the lines of being like, who would you have actors play it and who are the voices and stuff. And I'm always curious to hear what people think, because in my head I'm like, this is who I'd get to play this, as I explained earlier. But
Yep.
some people's interpretations of voices, I'm like, I can see that. Or they'll be like, oh, this actor or this actress has to do this, and I'm like, yeah, I'd be totally on board with that. Or other times I'm just like, that's so interesting, I wouldn't have thought that, and it works.
Yeah, it works. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So I got to do the wrap up, my friend. So I'm going to, deafen myself here on the Discord call and move us to the end screen. But it's been an absolute thrill, pleasure, and honor, my friend. Thank you for spending this 3-hour session with us here on Talk Tuesday. It means a great deal
It has
to
been
me.
more than my pleasure.
Yeah.
I've loved it. Thank you for having me. You've been a fan. I'm legit. Like, we could do talk shows with Nori. You would be a wonderful host. Absolutely wonderful. I love it.
We have a good time.
Thank you for having me.
We're happy to have you. But all right, I will catch up with you later, my friend. And again, have
All right.
yourself a wonderful
Sounds
rest
good.
of your day.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Oh, yeah, I got to think about lunch eventually too. But, yeah.
Well, I'm going to deal with dinner after this, so there you go.
Oh, true. Yeah, smart, smart. Time zones, gotta love it. But yes, you do your wrap
Gotta
up.
love them. Yep,
And yeah, we can always chat later. All right.
absolutely.
Thanks, buddy. Bye.
Thank you. And that's that. That is, that was our Talk Tuesday with special guest Dat Crodo, fabulous author, voice actor, and streamer extraordinaire. We hope that you have learned something about Crow. You have had a wonderful chance to ask your questions. We would again like to thank him for spending this time with us today. I'm going to hit the end screen, but don't go anywhere just yet. Oh, that's what I forgot. Crow, you still around? Crow? No.
I am
probably
still
not.
around. Yeah.
Oh,
what's up?
good. Yes. I forgot to ask you, we normally send a raid out at the end of these Talk Tuesdays. Anybody in particular that you would recommend us to go visit?
Ooh. I do have some folks online.
Well, I tell you what, DM me the name, and I will go back to doing my wrap up, and then we will kick over to them.
Oh, I know who I'm going to send some love to. It's someone that's like one of my favorites. Have just
There you
very
go.
good, wholesome, and good content with. So yeah. I know who.
There you go.
And
So
so
DM, well, then DM it to me, and I will send this lovely bunch of group of fabulous people right on over to them. We'll go say hi, make a new friend.
Yeah, she's very nice. She's a very sweet girl.
There you go. I was like, oh, I forgot. And I'm like, oh, wait, your React character is still up there, so you must still be in the call.
Yeah, I'm just muted. Yeah, it's all good.
Yep. All right. I'm going to go back now. All right. So we're going to hit the end screen. You're going to hear a little bit of music, a little bit of whatnot, and then we will go into the rest of our wrap up. So don't go anywhere. Hang tight. We're not quite done yet. There you go. That's the end music, but it doesn't mean that we're quite done yet. No, we're going to send a raid out to our guest picked streamer who's currently live right now. This has been our Talk Tuesday. I hope you've had just as much fun as I have. I have enjoyed spending time with you guys. I have enjoyed spending time with our special guest, Dat Crodo. If you are interested in getting in on a Talk Tuesday yourself, if you are a streamer out there and you're like, wow, that looks like fun, I would like to be a part of it, and we would love to have you be a part of it. If you look down in the About section, there is a little listing of dates. All of those are currently taken, but if you don't see a date for a Tuesday not taken down there, send me a message. Let me know that you want to appear on a Talk Tuesday coming up. We would love to have you. We would love to make it a thing for you to be here for. It has been fantastic. It has been amazing. And as we continue to move along and have fun, next week, our guest for next week is Morning Darkness, Valheim streamer, a bit of a YouTuber, fabulous. Morning Darkness. She appeared in our Denmark season 1 and Denmark season 2. You know her, you love her. Come on out, hang out. Let's find out how Morning Darkness became Morning Darkness. And until next time. So, like I said, if this is something that you're interested in, absolutely send me a message. Pick a date. Let's get you in on Talk Tuesday. We would love to have you here. And so we're gonna go raid this particular individual as selected by our streamer today, Bailey XYX. I don't know who it is, but we're gonna find out together. This is going to be an absolute fantastic time. So the first message is for all you lovely followers out there. The second message is for all you lovely subscribers out there. Copy it and get ready to spam it as we go raid Bailey XYX. Because our special guest tonight has suggested him. I hope you have had a wonderful time. We look forward to seeing you all again next time. And until then, continue to be the fantastic, fabulous, and amazing people I already know you are. And until next time, bye for now.